Donald Trump is currently speaking in the Bronx, and they got a permit for 3,500 people. It's full. They're overflowing. And if you look at the videos, the crowds are massive. Now, the Trump campaign and many of Trump's supporters are saying it's got to be 30K plus. Some are saying 25. Some are saying 37. Around 30K seems to make sense. Having covered a lot of these events, rallies, and protests on the ground for like 10 years, what I would say is, after watching a bunch of the videos, I think a fair assessment is about 30K. People really don't understand just how tightly packed people can be. I recommend if you look at any image of a crowd or a show, start counting the heads and you'll be like, wow, that's actually way more people than you realize. So you watch these videos. We got to Elad Eliyahu on the ground reporting this video of all of these people waiting in line to come in. Several thousand in key different in many key areas, plus the people that are in there, overflow. I'd be willing to say 30K people arriving in the area is a good estimate. Whether or not every single one of them is a Trump supporter, I don't know, but the people showed up. And it looks massive. So we're going to talk about this. We got a bunch of news pertaining to this. People are actually suggesting Trump will win New York. I don't believe it. But remarkably, in a D plus 23, Trump is only down 9 points against Biden in New York. Now, that is something else. This is why Trump is showing up. Some are even wondering whether or not he could actually win in New Jersey. So we're going to talk about all of that news pertaining to what's currently going on with Trump and all of this stuff. We do have some political news in terms of foreign policy and things like that, but we'll get to all that. We got some good news. CNN's ratings are at a 30-year low, 30-plus year low. Almost as bad as when they first started. Media Matters has laid off a ton of their staff, and we're all laughing about it. All right, well, before we get into that, head over to castbrew.com, buy Cast Brew coffee. We got some of the best coffee you'll ever have. You got Appalachian Nights. You got Rise with Roberto Jr. Support this show by buying Cast Brew because we sponsor ourselves. It's our coffee. And, of course, we have Alex Stein's Primetime Grind, 2 times caffeine. Drink responsibly. Also, head over to timcast.com, click Join Us, become a member, and you can watch the members-only call-in show coming up at 10 p.m. tonight. You, as members, if you've been a member for at least 6 months, or you sign up at the $25 per month level, you instantly get access to the call-in room where you can submit questions and potentially be one of the callers who talks to us on the show and our guest. The reason we have the screening process is because people are coming in and trying to screw with us and cause problems for the call-in. And considering you're actually on the show, we had to have some kind of screener. So it's either a little bit more, but it's $10 a month to be a member. You support the show. You keep the show up and running because this show is only possible because you guys are members. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with all of your friends. Joining us tonight to talk about this and whatever he feels like is Alex Stein.
Pimp on a blimp. And I have to actually start off by saying this, Tim. You know the conspiracy that you're trying to kill me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he named Roberto Jr. Bogus, and then I didn't believe the rumor at all. I did not believe it. And then I get my beautiful flight to the beautiful new studio, and you put me on a Boeing 737 MAX 8 jet. Yes.
So we have three character mascots for Cast Brew. We had Roberto Jr., Mr. Bokus, and of course Alex Stein, who has his own blend with Cast Brew. Roberto Jr. suffered a heart attack. Not kidding. He's our rooster. He was very young. He was 2, and he literally had a heart attack and died. It's very sad, and that's a bummer because he was our mascot. He was going to be in the commercial, and then we had to use his dad, Roberto Sr. Then, of course, Mr. Bokus had an untimely death. And then, of course, Alex was in the hospital. So everyone,
with a heart attack!
You had a heart attack?
Yeah, minor heart attack, a minor one. It's just...
Someone's phone is on the fritz. You're going to have to put it in airplane mode.
Is that mine? Maybe it is.
Might be.
Listen, obviously I don't think you're trying to kill me, but you did put me on that 737 MAX, and I thought the whole time the plane was going to crash. I'm very scared with all these Boeing whistleblowers dying. And then did you see it was in the news, the new 777 Boeing plane is spontaneously combusting?
Well, what did the FAA report? Like 300 planes have some kind of flaw?
Yeah, where the wing can blow up.
Well, we'll talk about it, I suppose, Alex. It should be fun. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
Shane's here.
I'm glad you made it here alive.
Barely.
Yeah, I'm the host of Inverted World Live, new call-in shows, Sundays, 6 p.m. on YouTube. We tell ghost stories, we tell abduction stories, near-death experiences, and I'm working out a theory on Joe Biden being a time-traveling cannibal with dementia. So tune in this Sunday, 6 o'clock. What's up, Hannah Claire?
Hey, I'm Hannah Claire Brimla. I'm a writer for SCNR.com, Scanner News. You follow all the work at Timcast News, especially tonight because a lot's on the ground, getting some good coverage of the rally. Hi, Serge.
Hello, Hannah Claire. Thanks for coming, Alex. Let's get into it, Tim.
All right, there's a fly. It's trying to get me. Or it's a mosquito or something. All right, we got this big breaking story from the Daily News. Hundreds of Trump supporters pack Bronx rally as counter-protesters jeer outside. Did you hear this? Hundreds. Hundreds, they say.
Well, they just community noted.
Hundreds.
Did you see how he got the community note from the crowd outside of his courtroom?
No, what was that?
I think it's Margot McAtee, like who's the head of his communications. She posted a video of all the people outside of the courtroom.
Was it the court or was it Trump Tower?
I think that was a courtroom. It was that, and it got community noted. They said that it wasn't from that day, and that it was from, I guess, the original time that he got arrested.
I
and
think
she proved that that was false.
I think this was in. So first, let me just clarify. Daily News is lying. Okay, what do we have here? New York Times: a Trump rally in the Bronx. Some residents ask why. Okay, look, we've got Elad Eliyahu on the ground. Eliyahu's on the ground, reporting for SCNR. I can tell you definitively, it is not hundreds. Here you go. There's already easily thousands of people outside the rally. It is absurd to think that Donald Trump could show up in New York for a rally in a city of millions of people and not get tens of thousands. When people are like, I think it's 30K, I'm like, really? Seems a little low. It's New York. People are bored, looking for something to do, and Trump's showing up. Look at this line.
It is hundreds, though. It's just a lot of them.
Right. It is hundreds. That's a fact. You see what they're doing?
Hundreds of hundreds, you might say.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
hundreds of hundreds.
So we have this video. Take a look. I just want to show this again. Here's the line. You see how it curves around? That already is probably a couple thousand people. They really underestimate how many people there are in groups. But let me show you a couple more. You got Bo Loudon says 30K people have shown up. Just watch this clip, and you can see, sure, this right
like
here.
100, right?
This right here already, it's probably several hundred just in the single frame alone. Then you spin around, several thousand there already. And I think it's because the rally itself, it's 3,500. So that makes sense because they're overflow. You've got American AF saying 30K people in advance for Trump's rally in the Bronx, and these are the numbers. I think that's what the campaign was saying. Is that what it was?
Yeah, the campaign is apparently saying to people on the ground that they're thinking there's 37,000 people there or over 30,000. I mean, they were permitted to have like just over 3,000 people there. 10,000 people requested tickets. Obviously, there's a huge overflow. I think hundreds is kind of a laughable headline, but I think that's part of it, right?
They're triggered.
They're so triggered, and it's interesting because everyone was like, well, why would he rally in the Bronx? And New York is safely Democrat. But the thing is, Roger Stone had a tweet about this today. The last Republican who went to the Bronx was Ronald Reagan, and he won. And the Bronx basically doesn't get attention from Democrats because Democrats take them for granted, right? They say, oh, you're New Yorkers, you'll all vote for us. But they elected a Republican city council member in 2022. Right. So, like, I just think that they are this area that people don't think about, and they're probably just as frustrated as so many other people with the Biden administration and with, Democratic leadership in the state of New York, like Kathy Hochul and the mayor.
They don't like Hochul?
I wouldn't like Hochul. I mean, if
I
she's
left
like,
the state when she got in.
Look, probably a lot of other people would too, except they're stuck there. I mean, if you have family and stuff, if you can't live, I mean, you have family there too, but it's just really difficult. And I think that's what's so interesting about this. Like, when I was getting ready for the show today, I was listening to MSNBC, and these talking heads are like, well, he's only doing this because he thought he was going to be in have trial the next day. And obviously the trial's been, they're on break basically until next week. But I think this is obvious. Like, it doesn't hurt him to have a rally in the Bronx. Like, yeah, maybe he thought he'd be there anyways, but the Bronx loves him, as it turns out.
There was a video that went viral. This is, I think, we were talking about. And I was trying to verify this. It's very difficult. And it shows a bunch of people, no MAGA hats or anything like that. They're standing next to a barricade, and they're all screaming and cheering. You can see it's 56th and 5th, which is Trump Tower. Okay. And people were saying, waiting to see Trump at court or outside of court. At first, I was like, well, that's wrong. This is 56th and 5th. The court's at 100 Center Street. And I tweeted something, then deleted it right away because I was like, no. The original tweet was people are waiting to see Trump, and that was it. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. He's at Trump Tower. But then I'm assuming that's what got community noted.
Yeah, that picture.
Because all of these Democrats and leftists started commenting on it saying, fake news, this is Joe Biden, it's Joe Biden. And I'm like, why would Joe Biden be at Trump Tower? Yeah, weird story. But this is what they do. They spam lies to try and manipulate the information. Right now, the reason why the Daily News is saying hundreds, well, it's true, right?
Yeah, technically.
Like if I said there are 10 people right now at the Timcast studio, it's like, well, yes, I mean, there's 30 or 40, but there are also 10, you know what I mean? Like, That's the game they're playing.
Yeah, but think about the spin. You and I were talking about it. The CNN and MSNBC, all of them said it's good that Michael Cohen lied on the stand. That even though you would think that would hurt his credibility, and the fact that he's scamming the Trump organization would, obviously prove that he's a crooked individual. But they said this is good because they said that if he'll lie on the stand, he'll lie for Donald Trump. So, I mean, this is just how they spin everything. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Remember when the New York Times said, don't think critically?
Yeah, exactly.
Critical thinking is getting us in trouble. Everyone just stop thinking.
Let us think for you.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
what was it? Don't do any research, or what was it? They constantly said not to look into it with the pandemic.
Yeah, that was Jimmy Dore had the best bit on that one where he's like, we wouldn't do that. He said, don't do your own research. And I'm like, that you wouldn't do it for literally anything else. Like you're going to buy a car. And then your friend goes, don't look into it. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to know what to buy? Trust the salesman. He's the expert. That's the world that they live in.
And he's looking out for your best interest. He doesn't care about anything but you.
Well, so the big question now is, why is Trump rallying in the Bronx? According to AOC, it's because he has court and they strapped an ankle bracelet on him and he can't leave, which is a scummy thing to say. I think Trump's having a rally in New York because he's within 9 points of beating Joe Biden.
I think New York loves Trump. If you look up a voting map of New York, it's mostly red. Obviously, the city's different, but past 2 elections, it's mostly red. They love Trump.
Everybody loves Trump. All these rappers that hate Trump now are all rapping about him, all love him. So it's all fake. You know what I mean? They're just, and then, what was it? That girl Amber Rose, Kanye West's ex, now loves him.
Yep.
I don't know if she really moves the needle, but I mean, what's going on with Trump and this court case? And then you see AOC has a town hall, and there's like 40 people there.
Was that tonight?
Yeah, I believe so.
No.
Yeah, it was a counter.
Tonight.
I'm pretty sure.
They're circulating it as if it were tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I
everyone's
saw
got
it
spin on both
today.
sides.
Exactly.
It's hard to
That's
tell.
why-
I know my favorite big booty Latina. I have my eyes on her constantly, so I know what she's doing.
When I saw the video and people were contrasting her empty town hall, nobody in it, and Trump's I mean, come on, dude. Look, I'm going to play music. Let's say I'm going to do a show. How many people are really going to show up to see Tim Pool play music? I mean, maybe fans of the show might be like, but it's not a big music thing. We have music, right? Would I book my show at the same time that, like, I don't know, Aaron Lewis is playing down the street?
Right.
Like, you've got this huge celebrity, musician, rock star guy, and I'm like, well, I'm going to do my show at the same time. No one's going to show up to that. Whether you like or hate Trump, AOC would be nuts to do a rally at the same time because the people who hate him are going to his rally.
Well, even I think it was Vanity Fair or Vogue said that AOC is the 3rd most popular politician behind Biden and Trump. Did you know that?
She's
what
a
they
huge
said.
social media presence.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
No.
That's what
In
they
what way?
said.
Do you think it doesn't translate into reality?
Well, I mean, like, what's their metric for popularity or follower count?
Well, I go to DC quite a bit. You walk through like Rayburn, Longfellow, their offices, and you'll like walk by a congressman. You have no idea because there's like 450 of them, right?
Yeah.
And the majority of them are not famous. And AOC, I think that's why she gets a lot of hate. It's like she is actually famous for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, because she's, this is the thing, right? Who's that famous? Was Dennis Miller? Was that the guy?
Yeah, the comedian.
Famous for being way too smart. Like that, they made fun of him because he would use big words and like talk about very esoteric things. Look, you want to be big in the modern era, you need lowest common denominator. So if you look at like the most viewed things on the internet, I mean, we're going to talk about Skibidi Toilet because Colbert did that thing. But like if you watch Skibidi Toilet, there's like no real. There's nothing there. It's just silliness.
What was that? I mean, why would he have Biden coming out of the toilet like that?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
It's going to cause people pain to watch.
It's
but
bad.
My point is, anybody who knows what Skibidi Toilet is, it's like nonsensical, silly content. You don't got to think very hard to watch it and laugh. That means one of the reasons why it does so well is it can cross barriers in language. Lowest common denominator. The more intricate the ideas you give, the less likely it is that you're going to get a larger and larger audience. So for AOC, why is she so popular? Because she says really, really low, let's just say low cognitive function things.
Which I like.
And so look, if you want to make, why are there so many big left-wing channels? Why did Hassan have so many viewers? Mm-hmm. Because he just says things that feel good that make no sense. It doesn't matter. You go on your show and you say something like, here's a bad thing, but then offer up no solutions, no counters, and have no real convictions, you're going to get a big following. AOC can come out and be like, you should have more money. And they're like, I like what she's saying.
Well, in the book Brave New World, I think they called it talkies or whatever, but like in the future, everybody's going to be on somas, and the content that they would watch was basically like pornography with explosions, like basically out of the movie Idiocracy. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, look at the Michael Bay films.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's the lowest common denominator. That's all people want to see is like boobs and explosions, and I think that's where we're at. Sadly.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on at Trump's rally. So we have this clip from the post-millennial. Trump says he's going to deport everybody. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history because this situation is sustainable by no country. So let's see if we can get this to play.
The other day, 22, think of it, 22 people from the Congo. Where do you live? We came from jail. What did you do in jail? We don't want to tell you. They're now living happily. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from all over the world. They come from the Middle East, Yemen. We're bombing Yemen. Here we go with the bombs again. We're bombing Yemen. And people are coming in from Yemen. Large numbers of people are coming in from China. And if you look at these people, did you see them? They are physically fit. They're 19 to 25. Almost everyone is a male. And they look like fighting age. I think they're building an army. They had 29,000 people over the last... I think they're building... They want to get us from within. I think they're building an army. This is not, you know, it's interesting. Did you see them? They all have tents. They all have gas-fired stoves. I mean, this is not like an illegal immigrant. They're building something. They have something in mind. We're going to end all of that stuff. They respected your president. They respected our country. And we're not going to let we are not going to let these people come in and take our city away from us and take our country away from us. It's not going to happen.
That is the talking point for Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. People in New York are pissed about all of the homeless, the illegal immigrants being given access to these hotels. Trump knows that New York Democrats are vulnerable, and that with everything people have experienced now, from the lockdowns to them giving these hotel rooms, luxury hotel rooms, to non-citizens, these people are prime for an alternative. I think they're going to vote for Trump. I don't know that Trump wins New York, but I think the polling is already showing that in a D plus 23 state, the whole state, Trump is he's only down by 9 points. That's how miserable Joe Biden is. Could you imagine if Trump actually won New York?
Well, I want to say this on the show, and it'll probably get clipped, and I'm totally wrong, but I feel like people are having like political fatigue. And during the pandemic, people were like mad at the system, so they were motivated to vote. I feel like people are not going to show up this year like they normally do.
I think that is wrong.
Okay, I know a lot of people are going to say it. I just feel like because the energy is still not the same like it was in 2020, in my opinion. I
do think there's political fatigue. We were talking about this the other day, and I think Elad was saying this, that basically if someone calls you a fascist, nobody cares anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, right. There's a fatigue there, but I also think it shows that the polarization has ossified. It is now in stone. This divide exists. You don't need the extreme energy anymore. The conversation has ended. That's what's worrying. I do think people go out and vote. They're saying we're expecting record high voter turnout, which is indicative of political conflict. You see that before countries have devolved into chaos. People are upset. You look at the economics of it. You get rid of everything in the polarization market, and you just talk about economics. We're going to see voter turnout.
We'll see. I mean, it made it a lot easier with those mail-in ballots. And, there is a little stat that Donald Trump won all 50 states when it came to in-person voting. And Joe Biden won all 50 states when it came to mail-in ballots.
How about that?
I know. Sounds
Trump won 18 of 19 bellwethers?
Yeah.
What do they say? No president has ever won Ohio and Florida and then lost the election.
Yep.
All of these metrics. It's just because, Joe Biden and the Democrats were so good at winning elections that they figured out the key areas where if they just got enough pieces of paper with signatures on them, they'd win.
I think there's fatigue from the propaganda, and people are set to vote for Trump who weren't willing to vote for him last time. I was looking at this quote from an article today about the rally. Rep. Torres said the South Bronx has no greater enemy than Donald Trump. And then I went and looked at the crime happening in the Bronx currently, and it's really bad. 12-year-old girl raped, double shooting. I'm like, these people are being told that this guy is their greatest threat, but they're living in violence every day. So they can't take it anymore.
I don't know how you have all of this immigration stuff and you don't see mass voter turnout. You've got black residents in Chicago screaming at the mayor, and you know what they're screaming? You are replacing us. I'm not
I've
kidding. It's
seen
not an
those clips.
exaggeration.
No, I've seen them from the city council meetings, but I don't know why I don't think they're going to show up. But I just feel like I've talked to so many people that voted for Trump in 2016, voted for Trump in 2020, and they're like, I just don't even want to participate anymore. And those are from conservatives.
Are they saying it because they're beaten from the narrative that the corporate press built, or are they saying it because they don't trust voting at all anymore?
Well,
probably both.
I mean, dude, let's be real. I mean, I love Donald Trump. I'm going to vote for you, President Trump. But January 6th, there are some, there's some stuff that people don't like with Trump. And I feel like, I don't know if that's going to affect him. I hope it doesn't. I hope Trump becomes our president. But there's a lot of people that are actually paying attention, and aren't, satisfied with any candidate with either.
I think
agree.
there's always dissatisfaction with the candidate that's representing your party, right? Like I could understand that, people who felt like maybe Trump didn't do enough or they have complaints about his performance, but I think ultimately people are more likely to say that during the summer, oh, I'm not going to vote, I don't know, I'm not happy, and then when it comes down to it in October or November, they know they're probably going to go to the polls, they know they're going to vote against Joe Biden, even if they're not crazy in love with Donald Trump. And I think it works the other way too. There are Democrats who are saying, I voted for Biden, but, he's just really let me down and the issues and I can't pay for groceries, whatever else, who are sort of fatigued, but they will ultimately cast a ballot for Biden because they feel like that's their only act against sort of this deluge of negative things. I mean, everyone feels fatigue about all kinds of stuff. We're in a very divisive time, and sort of, I think some people feel like the only way out of that is to just like try and vote and steer the country in a direction that would maybe favor you, even if you're not super optimistic about it.
What about the idea of a contingent election where neither candidate gets 270 electoral college votes, and then the Congress would choose?
You get a Trump-Harris administration. So
the Senate would vote Harris, and then
the Senate chooses the vice president, and the House chooses the president. So based on the current political breakdown, you would get a Trump-Harris administration.
It's funny though. I'm not even trying to argue with you, but what about the Republicans that wouldn't vote? You don't think there would be Republicans that don't vote for Trump?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, they kicked George
but
Santos out. George Santos is a weirdo. Let's get it. He's done some weird stuff, but he had the most conservative voting record in Congress, and they kicked him out. And they had the majority, and they don't even care, Tim. It's just they don't care.
I don't think they were super rational to kick George Santos out before he was convicted of anything. Like, that's always bothered me. On the other hand, that was midterm, right? And not that it should have happened, but I think there is a certain level of when you are on the precipice of resetting the government, aka electing a new president, people are more likely to sort of fall in line with their party, for good, for better, for worse, right? Like, you're seeing this stuff with Haley right now. She said she's going to vote for Trump, and you can see the clips of her, she attacked him before she was in his cabinet, then she was in his cabinet, then she attacked him again, then she was like, first she said she wouldn't run against Trump, and then she attacked him like crazy, and now she's saying like, oh, well, I've got to do this stuff, and he should reach out to my voters. I think ultimately, because we're unlike European governments where there are multiple parties and you form coalitions, like, you're either blue or red for the most part. We have the two independents in the Senate both caucus with Democrats, right? Like, you're independent, but you lean a certain way. And so ultimately, I think that even Republicans who are against Trump know that if they are trying to be the majority power in the government, there isn't a benefit to voting against him because the Biden administration treats them so badly.
Plus, Trump's cutting deals. Mike Johnson was down at Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks ago. Trump was working with him on this foreign funding stuff. So a lot of people do think that that Trump's basically working deals with establishment figures. Now, I saw something funny from Zero Hedge. They gave a rundown of the potential VP picks of who they think it's going to be, and they ranked Rubio at number 1. And I'm like, that's the rumor that everyone's been saying, that's going to be Rubio.
I heard Burgum, or am I saying it right?
I've heard Burgum too, of North Dakota.
That's what I keep hearing.
I still would pick, I think I'd pick JD Vance over Marco Rubio, but, and again, this is me being skeptical and cynical, but like, as soon as the corporate media is lining up behind someone, I start to be like, is it really him, or do you guys just want it to be him?
I still think Tulsi is that. You think that's out of the question?
I think it's going to be Rubio.
Really? The Florida thing, like, Florida's a good state
to
have.
Rubio is an establishment player who's got ties to the Bush donors, and it's not about. It's funny because I think it was Libby when I mentioned the rumor as Rubio. She's like, oh, because he'll help win Florida, and I'm like, no, because he's deep state.
Yeah, because Trump has Florida, I would say, on lock.
I don't think any of that matters. I mean, the question is, how did Democrats win in 2020? They didn't win by arguing that they were the better leaders. They won by changing procedure, by getting mail-in ballots universal, and then let's just call it extreme ballot harvesting.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least. And so the real issue is, do you want to win? How do you play the game? And now we're hearing rumors that Trump is talking with Rubio. Rubio's getting donors on board. I'd be willing to bet that it's going to be Rubio. And if it is Rubio, Trump wins.
If
Cenk Uygur just said Trump wins.
If it is Rubio,
Is that what he said? He said.
Cenk Uygur tweeted Trump will.
I can't ever say it.
Yeah, Cenk. He said Trump will win. Buckle up or something like that.
I believe Rubio's been working on UFO transparency, so I will support that. Last time a president campaigned on, or obviously a president, not a vice president, but Carter campaigned on releasing UFO stuff before he got into the office, and then was denied and never talked about aliens again, unfortunately.
I want to let's do this. Let's get into a little nitty gritty. You know, Trump's doing this rally in the Bronx. I want to show you this. This is the politics of New York State, and we can see that the political breakdown as of 2024 is 48%, 48.8 Democrat, 22% Republican. Then you've got conservative and minor parties. They don't really matter. Unaffiliated is 24%. Donald Trump could win if the unaffiliated in their near entirety joined with Republicans. But take a look at this New York polls. They actually don't often have polls for states like this. So they have the one here from May 13th to 15th, Santa College. Trump is only down 9 points in a D plus 23. New York State is a Democrat stronghold. Trump should be down by 20 plus points. He's down by 9. That's what he's looking at. And then we got this tweet here from Amy Kremer. I was a Democrat, but actually I'm supporting Trump.
I'm a Bronx resident, and actually I was a Democrat, but actually I'm supporting Trump. I'm a Bronx.
Now there's selection bias. This is at the Trump rally in the Bronx.
Right.
So
Yeah.
naturally there's going to be people who were Democrats who are voting for Trump. The question is, will it be enough? Can Trump rally enough in New York to actually get that 9% left and actually win?
I think he can. I really do.
I think he can. I don't think he will. I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
bet
don't
money
think he's
on
going
it.
to win New York. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean,
I also think it would scare Democrats, right? Like if he doesn't win New York, but he makes serious inroads and we see other down ticket seats flip to Republicans, like the Democrats take New York for granted, right? I mean, upstate New York actually is more red, but they look at the city, they look at Long Island, they're like, no, this is our territory. And it would be interesting to see the sort of populist response of people electing Republicans. Maybe they don't cast a vote for Trump, but if they're saying, well, I'd rather be represented on a local level by a Republican, that's actually a win for the party, which is spearheaded by Trump, in my opinion.
New York City had a Republican mayor not that long ago. You know, they have done it. I think it
Yeah.
will happen again.
That's the city too. And the
Right.
rest of the state is red.
Right.
So it's possible.
we'll see.
Look, I mean, Joe Biden can't win Ohio.
Yeah.
what do you mean
Not
he
even
can't?
part
You
of
don't
it.
think he will?
He's not on the ballot.
Not on the ballot.
Why is Joe Biden not on the ballot?
Because they didn't file.
You got to be kidding me.
You didn't know? Yeah. This
I
is-
didn't even see when it
Yep.
was. This should be
Yesterday.
They didn't file.
breaking news. What?
Yep. And so,
So RFK's on all 50 states?
no,
but
RFK's not. RFK's not. They
RFK's
think
on like 5 or 6
Yeah.
days.
And they think that RFK said he believes that by June they will be on
all 50 is what he
not
said.
all 50. It's going to be something like 210 electoral vote total or something like that. And he says that he will reach the threshold before he will reach 270 total in registrations before the debate on CNN. And that's why he should be on it. But basically what happens is in Ohio, you've got to submit, you got to file your candidate 90 days before the election. That makes sense. They need time to make the ballots, to get everything ready. 3 months. The Democratic convention is 75 days from the election. The Democrats chose to do that, which means they haven't filed in Ohio. And so they tried to pass some bill in the state where they were like, okay, well, let's just say Biden can be on it. They couldn't agree on it. And now they're all attacking the Republicans in Ohio. And they're like, we did not make this law. The law has been on the books for like 20 years. We did not tell Democrats to do their convention 75 days out. It's their problem and their fault. So he can't win Ohio. They'll cheat. I say they'll cheat. They're going to do something where the courts will intervene and some special provision will get added. And then Republicans will have grounds to be like, you changed the rules of the election in your state because Biden and the Democrats did not file. And that's crazy.
I think that is crazy, though. Why would the DNC just take them for granted that, like, they could get the rules changed later, or are they that inefficient?
They think they're going to lose. They think Biden can't win. I don't know.
They already have someone in place. They're like, oh, we forgot to even play the game for Biden.
Do we really
But they
think
couldn't
Biden?
get anyone else on. Like, that's the thing. At their convention, anything could happen, and they still would not have a candidate on the ballot in Ohio.
Right. Just because it's not Biden doesn't mean they can't
it's
do
no
anybody
one.
now.
which is weird. Did they just decide Ohio's too red and they can't get it? Sorry, I cut you off.
Well, I know it's Captain Obvious, but I mean, there's no way Joe Biden lives another 4 years, in my opinion. I mean, unless
you're saying he's alive now, though.
I mean, is he alive?
I don't think so.
think he's Jim Carrey wearing a mask.
I think when you're not watching him on a screen, every other moment when he's not in the public eye, he is hooked up to the Genesis device, which is circulating fluids and perpetuating. Have you played Fallout New Vegas? Anybody? No. You guys are not cultured. But for those that have played Fallout New Vegas, Biden is basically Mr. House.
It's
a guy strapped to a table with a bunch of machines
plugged
plugged
in
in
pod whenever he's not in front of the camera.
Well,
but there's
why
also
do you think he
multiple
goes to
Bidens.
Delaware
Cryo
every weekend? He
Right,
goes
right.
to Delaware for something.
Well, that's what they
maybe it's just to
replicate.
drink a lot of caffeine, or maybe it's to
Well,
bring
the
out an
billionaires,
extra.
they have blood boys where they take blood from a younger person,
Yes.
and then
Well, there's that guy.
Yes.
What's his name? Brian Johnson. Is that his name?
The guy
I see
who's
the
been-
anti-aging guy.
He's getting blood from his kid or whatever.
Billionaire
Biden,
vampires.
What if they like hook Biden every weekend in Delaware? They hook Hunter and Joe up together, and they do blood transfusions.
Well, now he has this very young, like 3 or 4 year old grandson too. I mean, he's got lots of
That's
options.
how he
to
takes
mail-
his
mail
meth.
air.
It's through Hunter's blood into him because he can't take it directly.
No,
because
they're
destroy
putting him in the Genesis chamber. So he's going into a giant pod. It freezes him, and then they're like, "We don't need Biden for another 2 days and 12 hours." And then they thaw him out. He walks out. He goes in front of the TV camera and says, "Come on, pack-a-lacka, back-a-lacka." And then he goes back in and frees him again.
And then
Did you see the pack-a-lacka?
Yeah. So is when he's not fully.
Did you see that?
When he's
no,
not.
what is that?
Oh, dude,
I saw
totally.
the Joe Biden toilet thing. I'm still like,
We're getting to it.
I know,
We're
but I
getting
still
to
have
it.
PTSD from it. It's
When
weird.
he's not fully thawed is when his eyelids don't work. That's the problem.
Right. That's why his eyes are all
They're
squinty.
taken out too fast.
It is weird when his face changes, though. It
changes a lot.
It changes a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's wearing a mask, but it is weird.
I'm not
how
saying
he
he's wearing a
looks.
mask. I think he's either
Yeah.
a deep fake or a reanimated corpse.
All right, here. I want you to tell me what he's saying. Okay, you got to listen to this.
After I signed the PAC Act into law, I handed the pen that I signed it with the tradition of the most responsible for the legislation. After I signed the PAC Act into law,
It's Missy
I
Elliott.
handed
lyrics.
the pen that I signed it with the tradition
Like
of
when your CD has a scratch and it gets stuck.
I said he's clearly saying pack-atta, but someone's saying it sounds like he's saying Adalac, you know?
I signed the
Kofefi is a
PAC
big deal for everybody, but this guy does like this every day.
Guys, I'm going to tell you what really offends me. Look at this video. Pull the video back up. He clearly isn't saying pack-anna lola nalak. He's not saying that. Like, guys, you got to translate Bidenisms properly, okay? Like when he said Truinanesh Shabbat pressure, everyone put Truinalez as a pressure. Like they didn't even actually try.
We need all the
to
syllables.
listen to what he's saying.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, he's clearly saying pack anna act pack act.
After I signed the PAC Act into law,
Yeah.
Pack
I
anna
handed the
act
pen
pack
that I
addle
signed it with.
That caption is generous.
I know.
Yeah, well, to what he's really saying.
Look, man, the average life expectancy I think is what? It's like 78 or something. Yeah. What is it?
It's about
I think it's
78.
Lower than that?
It might be
I
It's
thought
like
it was
74.
76 for
Yeah.
men, but I could be wrong.
Yep.
I mean, I think all of this is a sign of how much
76.
they're willing to ignore from their side, right? Like left-wing media will look at this and be like, we didn't hear anything. You know, they've started like taking out his gaffes. They'll be like unintelligible where it was, which is true. It's unintelligible, but also like the fact that he can't get out these words that are pre-rehearsed speeches he has ahead of time with a teleprompter is not a great look.
I also want to just piss everybody off who's older than me because people will say like, you're still a young man. I'm like, I'm halfway there.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
And they're like, no. I'm like, I am
3/4.
38.
Yeah, we're middle-aged.
Literally halfway there. 76 is average life expectancy. But don't worry. I asked ChatGPT to tell me how long I'd live, and it said 90.
Wow.
It answered you? No, it didn't.
What do you mean? Of course it did.
You said, how long is Tim Pool going to live? And it said 90?
I said, I'd like to calculate my life expectancy. And then it was like, I need to know certain things about how you live. And then I put like, here's how many calories I eat per day. Here's how often I exercise. Here's my height, weight, age. Here's my ethnic background. I said, I don't smoke, I don't drink. And then it was like calculating and the thing like filled. And then it was like, based on everything you've described, people in your similar positions have a life expectancy of late 80s to early 90s. Yeah.
Does it give you like
it was a big trend.
If you
people were
could
doing this.
speak to somebody that's clairvoyant and they could tell you when you're going to die, would you want to know?
No.
I don't know.
I know it's kind of a weird.
What would you do?
I feel like the issue with that is the moment you ask, they're going to be like, ugh. Well, it was going to be 90, but now it's going to be 39. Because what happens is once I tell you 90, you think you're invincible, and then you end up dying in a car accident.
Well, there's this guy, Kirk Cousins, and he has a jar in his closet, and they're marbles, and he has 12 marbles for every year, and he has like, it's like 300 marbles, and every month he takes one out. And he has this, you can look it up, type in marbles, and so he has enough for his age to go to 80 years old, and every month he takes a marble out, so he's reminded how short he has to live.
Oh, that's cool. I saw one video where a woman had a thing on her wall of the total weeks she has to live, and it's just like one big thing, and you fill in the squares and you mark it down.
I mean, I think there is value in operating that way, right? Like
we
being
should live like
we're
that.
gonna live
It's like
forever.
4,000 or
Like,
5,000
what
weeks.
things do you put off because you're like, oh, I'll just do it later. I'll just do it later. Like I just know so many people who are like, oh, I would call my mom, but I'm gonna live forever, so it doesn't matter.
Right,
or like
right.
I'm gonna start my family later. Like this is the constant thing you hear with women freezing their eggs, like later, but you actually let your whole life go by.
It's good to be reminded of the urgency of life, but I don't want to know the exact answer to when it ends.
I gotta shout out Andrew Long in the super chat because I thought the exact same thing. He says, "Pak Anna Ak Analak is the Martian language from Mars Attacks." It's true. Have you ever seen Mars Attacks?
Yeah, that's a great
They go,
movie.
So he's just communicating with his people.
He's trying to.
A little shout out in the middle.
It's a dog whistle to aliens.
Oh man.
I knew it.
Finally.
So he's how old is the guy? 80?
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
81. I'll look.
How old is William Shatner? That dude's like a million.
He's like 93 or something.
That guy's
He just
immortal.
went to space.
I know, and he looks like he's 70. He looks like he's 65 or 70.
Yeah.
So that guy's getting an NAD. I tell you what.
Is that what
Biden
you
was
think he's
born
on
in
an NAD?
1942.
NAD
That just
drip?
seems so
What was that?
crazy.
What was what?
Joe Biden was born in 1942.
Wow.
Like good, but also crazy.
Joe Biden was born before the end of World War II.
Wasn't there something where it was like he was born closer to Lincoln's assassination than to
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but like which is true of
to
everybody
today.
of this age, but like kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that is the case.
But he is the young people's choice is what the media would have you believe, right? I mean,
He wears aviators. He's pretty cool.
he's super cool. He gets ice cream. He's got
Yeah.
young granddaughters, I guess. I mean, Trump is older too. Let us not forget, but he carries himself so differently that's I think the bigger deal. We all know someone, everyone knows someone who's like 90 and bike rides every day. I mean, Chuck Grassley, who's the oldest member of Congress.
Joe Biden was born 77 years, 7 months, and 6 days after Lincoln was assassinated. Wow. So he was born closer to the assassination of Lincoln than to today.
Mind-boggling.
That's old. I mean, that's old.
Wow. I think, how old is Trump?
Trump's like
78.
78.
Yeah.
Then that's true for him too, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're both old. This is
But
the thing.
as time
Yeah,
goes
but Donald
on-
Trump's way better.
Donald Trump
and
is
I mean,
so
not
different.
He's
even
spry.
like night and day difference.
Oh, no question. He's a spry man. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about what Alex has been
Oh, this
desperate
is
for.
the worst.
I want to warn people, don't watch it directly because I think it's an MK Ultra video.
So Colbert, what is this? Obama, a tread? I don't know what it is. They say the 9/11. Okay, guys, put your phones in airplane mode. Seriously, is that you, Alex?
It's in airplane mode.
Yeah, I know, but someone's phone's not in airplane mode.
Not me.
Oh, someone's hiding their phone. All right, let's do this. This is a tweet from Obama. A trade, I don't know what it is, a trad Robin or whatever. They said, the 9/11 of television, I am not inclined to disagree.
Skibidi Biden.
Skibidi Biden. Skibidi, skibidi Biden. Skibidi Biden. Joe. Skibidi Biden. Hitler's language. Trump is using Hitler's language. Trump is using Hitler's language. Skibidi.
Skibidi.
I may sometimes appear animated on the show. I may be passionate about things, but I would never really define, I would say it's rare that I would define my demeanor as angry. Some people might say like when I'm arguing something, I'm saying like this, I would say that's passion. Anger is like strong emotion. This makes me angry. It makes me very angry, and I am controlling myself because I want to put my fist through that window over there. I think Colbert should be canceled off of television. I think he should be criminally investigated and perhaps have a lengthy prison time for whatever that was.
I want to say that's how I felt when Colbert danced with syringes for the vaccine. But
yeah, that did make me mad.
But this is like, I think this is how we get votes for Biden. He's thinking.
Okay, well,
I got this. Is this something he's sharing someone else made, or did he make this just?
That's his.
It's his right.
I think Carl Benjamin takes the cake. He says Colbert has radicalized me against free speech.
That's how I feel when I see a Krasenstein tweet.
Well, what's weird is it took 50 comedy writers to come up with this. Probably,
Yes.
I mean, his staff is huge.
That's what I mean.
I guarantee you, none of the 68-year-olds who watch his show know what Skibidi Toilet is.
No.
So, like, is the joke, because we don't know the full context. Did Colbert say something like, we're trying to reach out to younger people, so we've made Skibidi Biden or something?
Right, and then it would be a joke about how silly these things are that kids watch or whatever. Or is this just their way of harvesting votes?
I actually think this is going to hurt Joe Biden because 67-year-olds are looking at this being like, why is Joe Biden in the toilet? I don't understand. Is he bad? And then it's going to be like, Carla, I think they're saying we should flush Joe Biden down the toilet.
Right.
And then that's what you get.
Yeah, I mean, how is this showing him in a positive light?
It's not. It's just Joe Biden in the toilet.
He's screaming, Trump is using Hitler's language, and I think people are just going to associate Biden with Hitler now.
Or they're making fun of him for like this stuff that happened this week. It doesn't seem like it's supportive of Biden. I don't really get this at all.
I wish I had the context of it, but whatever it is, it should be burned for sure.
And it's funny, it's a late night show, and they obviously have to mention Hitler too. You know, I mean, they just have to have that.
I think Skibidi Toilet's pretty funny. For those that don't know what it is, like the first video was basically this. It's like some guy head popping out of a toilet and he's saying nonsense. But now it's basically Attack on Titan. And you've got giant monsters fighting, and it's like 20-minute long episodes. And I'm like, yo, it's kind of wild that they've created a lore, and there's characters, and there's like things happening, and it's like a war going on, and there's like people who are TVs, people who are cameras. It's kind of crazy that they built this deep lore to this internet nonsense. I respect it. Colbert should be fired. He should apologize.
I really am not lying or making a joke when I say I think this is mind control. Like when they just are saying, repeating Trump is using Hitler's language. It's straight up mind control, like something you'd see out of a 60s.
Well, but that's like the Trump stuff. Remember when everyone was like, Trump? Right, and I'm like, why? That's not an insult. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
They're just saying buck, buck, buck.
Right.
When John Oliver was like, if you want to be part of our group, say Trump. And then everyone's like, hey, Trump. Now they're trying to get this to be the thing, but you know, I respect it because then we know who to avoid.
But once you repeat something enough, it can become true. I mean, you know, when you just constantly hear it, it does brainwash you.
There's you guys know that comic where the guy's like, I'm angry, and the guy says, here's a solution. He goes, I don't want a solution. I want to be angry.
I saw that meme you posted, yeah.
Well, that's a very famous comic, but that guy has a bunch of other ones that are really good too. And I was scrolling through, and literally like 2 days after that one, he has another funny one where a guy is like, wow, it's a rare snow fox. And the snow fox is like, hello. And he's like, people say you are magic. Is it true? And he goes, anything can be true if you believe in it. And if you repeat it to the media enough. And then the next one is the fox talking on the TV. And the guy's like, this dog's got a point. But I thought that was really good. Like, anything can be true as long as you just say it to the media often enough.
That's right.
That's what they do.
Well, don't we all kind of live in our different reality, though? I mean, like, everybody thinks that we have the same perspective, but we all have totally different perspectives. You know what I mean? You kind of almost create
to
your
varying
own
degrees.
Yeah, but like I feel like almost people do create their own reality. Like, what is it they call it? Main character energy, you know?
Main character syndrome.
Yeah, you know, I feel like...
but to varying degrees, right? Like, a lot of these internet-based leftists have main character syndrome. They think they're the most important person in the world. They don't feel like, people in this country used to be part of something. But, look, some people believe things that are true, and some people believe things that are not. Some people know something someone else doesn't know. So, for instance, you and I know that Cask Brew coffee it's the best, most delicious coffee ever.
Best coffee in the world.
But just because some of the viewers don't know that doesn't mean we live in different worlds. It just means they need to hear it and then taste the coffee so they can understand truth.
Yes.
Right? And that is the best coffee you'll ever have. Now, anyway, there are many leftists who will taste the coffee and then say it's bad simply because they want to insult and virtue signal to their base. The funny thing is, I know I'm joking about Casper Coffee, but it literally is true. You can say, hey, Joe Biden did a quid pro quo. It's just on video. And they will know he did and go, no, he didn't. Because they want to fit in with their crowd. That's the world they live in. We don't live in that world.
Mm-hmm. No, that video is so damning where he talks about how he paid the guy off, and they still just deny it. I mean, and now we're fighting a never-ending war there.
It's like good
Yep.
people on both sides. I mean, there's so many
Bloodbath.
Right.
What's the latest hoax? The Unified Reich one?
Oh yeah.
That was funny because it also says there will be an escalation in violence in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I'm like, they didn't choose that one. It was an old newspaper clipping that was used as a stock image. It did not say that, like, the media reported Trump promises a unified Reich. And I'm like, no, it said that economic output in coal is leading to a unified Reich in Austria or something. And then underneath it says violence escalates in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In no way did that paper say Donald Trump promises these things will happen. They just make it up. And the media runs with it.
Yeah, but the news is fake. Everybody knows. I mean, it's all
hundreds
fake.
of people rallied today.
See,
Hundreds.
and this is where I get what you're saying. Like,
100.
I do think there is sort
Hundreds
of
of hundreds.
two parallel realities where, like, Trump said, used the wrong words, and 100 people went out to his rally in the Bronx. Like, there is a level of, like, if you only read the headlines that are directed to you, your perspective is totally warped. But I think more than anything, we kind of talked about this before, there is a level of fatigue with all of this, even though it's an election year. The hammering home of, like, Trump is awful over and over again. People are starting to kind of get tired of it. Like, maybe they do think he's awful, whatever, but mostly their priorities are actually at home. It's how are they going to pay their bills? Why is this, like, issue that I'm facing? What's going, like, why can't we get roads? Should I get on a plane? Those kinds of things are what's kind of overtaking it. So the hysteria that's coming up, that's why you can't really get anything off the ground. Like, even with the Reich one this week, it, like, happened really fast and then kind of died. Like, I don't think we'll hear about it. I mean, we might talk about it for the rest of the year, but it's not like an overarching scandal that's taking down his campaign the way AI Biden in that video seemed to imply. It's just because people are tired and they're used to the two sides of politics doing whatever they can to sling mud at each other.
I think this is why I keep saying we're in post-reality, because you can go online and find whatever thing you want to be true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was trying to make.
And
It's like you can find information for any side of the argument.
And I think you could also avoid all of it. Like, I think there's a possibility that, you know how there are, like, stories of, like, people reaching remote islands and there's a whole population there that just live, like, without the internet, without everything. Like, I bet there is a whole block of American voters who are just completely unaware of it, maybe by choice, but also, like, if you're not interested in the news and politics and you have really specific interests that never intersect with it, maybe you just really don't know what's going on. Like, do you think that's maybe a better way to live?
I mean, it's so hard, though, because I feel like politics has diseased everything. You
but
can't get away
it's
from
like
it.
a drug. Like, once you get a little bit, you get more and more obsessed with it.
Yeah, but I think
but dude, like, when I buy a bagel, I want to know who that bagel's voting for.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want the bagel shop to put all the politics on the walls. I'm at the point where, like, a long time ago, I was saying I don't really care if a business had stuff in the windows, whatever, dude. Just I want to get a milkshake. Now I'm at the point where it's like, dude, if you put that weird stuff, if you put a Molon Labe in your window, I'll buy a cheeseburger from you. If you put weird leftist stuff, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. Because I don't want to deal with your weirdo stuff.
Yeah, I want every elementary school to have a pride flag in the classroom.
I want every elementary school to have a Molon Labe flag in the classroom.
But that is weird. Why are there schools like this is kindergarten, this is first grade, this is elementary school?
It's a cult.
I know, and
Yeah,
they're
that's how
just
you
putting
brainwash
trans
them.
flags. And then if you walk through, any of the offices in Congress, half of the politicians either have like Israel, hostages, or all have a trans flag. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, what? They spy all the trans flags.
It's always whatever the new like black box will be. Like they had the George Floyd black box.
Have you,
and now the Israeli flag is that. The Palestinian flag is that.
You see Freedom Tunes, Seamus's video about this?
Not the latest. Is it new?
It's a bunch of people at Flag Company USA, and they're like, flag sales are down. What do we do? And so then they start making pride flags, and they're like, no one's buying them anymore. And he's like, what if we had another color? And then it's like the years keep going by, and the flag keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Well, it's getting crazier and crazier.
And then it's like the year is like 2436, and it's like we've used every flag possible. And then like they're like, let's try this one, and it's like been used before, and they're like, we're out of flags. What do we do?
But I think that is sort of the effect. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of doing whatever they can to be like, look, all of us are over here. You don't want to have that symbol over there. I think that this is not a winning strategy overall. And I think ultimately it leads to a certain amount of fatigue, right? Like, I think it is good to spend money with people who like you. I think Public Square does great work. But I could also see if you're like an average consumer at a certain point, you don't want to have to just screen everything in your lives. You get burned out.
Let's jump to this one from the Post Millennial. Biden campaign to hire meme manager to help win voters who are terminally online.
Nice.
No, you can't do it. So here's the problem with Biden memes and why they don't work, and I'll tell you why Trump memes do work. The media says Trump is a braggart, bloviating blowhard. He's lewd and lascivious, and that gives you so much to work with in terms of punchline. Making a meme where Trump is super ripped, they get so mad about it. I've done a bunch of these. I made an image of Donald Trump wearing golden armor with a giant sword. And it's funny because it's ironic. It's like taking Trump, who's overweight and old, and then making him into this, it's like when Ben Garrison draws a picture of him and he's all ripped. It's funny. You put him on a velociraptor with a machine gun, and it's ironic. Joe Biden is sad and old, and they don't say these things about him. The media does not. There's no punchline. So when I made a ripped Joe Biden, I made Joe Biden wearing a suit with his sleeves ripped off and aviator sunglasses, and he's smiling and flexing. Nobody cared. It generated no interest from the left or the right. I put Trump in a paladin outfit. Everyone on the right's laughing. Everyone on the left is seething. You can't make a meme out of a guy that no one cares about. In 2020, enthusiasm for Trump was 90-something%. Enthusiasm for Biden was like 26%. Joe Biden campaigned in his basement, which means he basically did not campaign. So when you make a meme picture of a guy no one knows or cares about with glowing eyes, people are like, huh? But Donald Trump was on TV 24/7, and you make a meme where he's got a hot dog launcher, you're going to be like, huh, that's funny. That's Trump. I see him all the time.
Yeah, but they can create like inorganic campaigns. Because you remember, I think it was 2015 when there used to be a lot of Joe Biden memes. Do you remember that time? It wasn't that long ago.
Were they good? Did people like them?
Well, kind of. It was like him and Obama. There was like,
they had a good friendship. He was wearing the
do you remember those
sunglasses.
pictures?
Yeah, but that was insulting him. And it was,
Right.
so they did the meme where Obama was doing something good and then Joe was an idiot.
Yeah, they had that one.
Yes.
But they also had positive ones of Joe Biden, I remember.
But I felt like they
what?
were only positive in relation to Obama. Like,
Like
oh,
that he
we're
was
best
cool.
friends. We have best
Right.
like friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't seem like Biden translated without Obama. When they tried to bring him to do his own thing,
They
it's like
ran
a
around the
spin-off
White
that
House
doesn't work
together.
out.
Well, I think Obama's still kind of the president right now. I think he's probably running the deep state and probably. I mean, because did you guys see that interview? And it wasn't Colbert where he said that his dream would be to basically be a shadow president.
Yeah,
Just,
I saw that.
I mean, everybody's seen that. I mean,
certainly
would
not
they
Joe
surprised
Biden.
if certain levels of that are true today? I mean, he has a lot of influence in the Democrat Party. I mean,
The Biden window one was a good one.
They did the glowing eyes, Dark Brandon, and that's like it. And it's just like, dude, no one likes this guy. So making him look evil actually just doesn't do anything. Like that's okay. The economy is bad and he's lying about it. Also, it doesn't work. Trump is spry enough where the media critiques of him are that he's cognitively functioning, but they don't like his character. So if you make a meme of like Dark Trump firing people, it fits. It mocks the insults. It mocks the character that we expect from the media. This is the funny thing about when Jack Posobiec went on stage and said, we didn't overthrow democracy on January 6th, but we will endeavor and we'll try again. And then Bill Maher lost his mind about it. It's like the joke was the media says the right tried to overthrow the government. So Jack is mocking that idea, saying, yes, we are. Joe Biden lives in his basement. What are they mocking? He's a tired, sleepy old man that no one talks about.
Do you think in 80 years there's going to be historians looking at these memes the way people are looking at cartoons, political cartoons from the Civil War today?
I don't know. The interesting thing is that when it comes to quotes, we'll read a quote from Benjamin Franklin. We'll be like, truly a genius. But now I tweeted something out a long time ago. I was like, the funny thing is thought leaders, personalities, journalists, pundits, and politicians would rarely have their words recorded. So they become the most powerful things they said become quotes. Mm-hmm. And then I tweeted something like, cat butthole or something like this. And I was like, and now for history, if anyone ever references me, they're going to be like, here's a quote from Tim Pool. And it's like, cat buttholes are shoved in your face or something like that. It's like
legacy.
I know, I did it on purpose. It's like, so when we talk about looking back at these memes, so I'll tell you what's crazy is ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure GPT watches all YouTube videos, all of them. Like I'm pretty sure I could pull it up and ask it to give me a quote from one of the episodes from like a year ago, and it would. And that's how it's learning. It's creepy. All of that data that's available will be easily pulled up. And what's going to happen in the future is they're not going to. It's not necessarily going to be the same way they talked about political cartoons. It's literally going to be like, in this course on Podcasters of the 21st Century, we have an episode from 2023 featuring Tim Pool and Alex Stein and Phil Labonte. And at the 1 hour and 3 minute mark, Phil Labonte says, yeah, and yells. Now, this is the signature yell as he's in a band. Every line you've ever said
will be on the internet,
permanently, forever.
I think that's already happening.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then you know what they're going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do.
What?
The year is 2226. And there's going to be a classroom. It's going to be virtual reality. And you're going to have Neuralink, so you're going to be able to have full sensory perception and reception. And they're going to say, to better understand the time of the 21st century in the Second Civil War period, blah, 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 you get the joke. They're going to say, we're going to call in Alex Stein. And everyone's going to go, oh, wow. And then they're going to go whoosh, and a screen's going to pop up showing every video ever made by Alex Stein. And then it's going to go all the way to the end of your career and you're old. And then it's like, and now, the year that we're focused on is 2024, the presidential election. So we're going to and they're going to go, computer, give us Alex Stein from May 23rd, 2024. And then the AI is going to be like compositing Alex Stein. And then you will appear in the room with everybody and you'll be like, hey, what's going on, everybody? And they're going to be like, what was it like? What's going on? And it's going to be AI programmed to know everything you've ever said on your social media and have your personality and talk in VR.
Well, I think you're actually right. And it's going to be even darker. Like, people are going to plug into that metaverse. And I think it'll happen before 200 years once they have the technology. And that movie Vanilla Sky, like, you can be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, you can be the president of the United States, and people are going to line up around the corner to do it. They're going to love it. Yeah, I mean, people would just love to live in a false reality if it felt real. So
of course, like, I'm not some famous podcaster. I'm a morbidly obese middle-aged man who's right now in a VR pod, who's lived a horrible life, got divorced recently, and said, I just want to feel cool, man.
But here
I am.
I know, and people will do it.
How would you feel, Alex, if you like woke up tomorrow and you were just like a 70-year-old woman who was like, I just lived a boring life and I wanted to be funny?
It's like The Notebook. It'd be sad. I mean,
so sad.
But that, you know what they're going to convince people too? Because like we were talking about, life expectancy is 76, but in the metaverse you can live for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Because they even said they're going to do prison sentences where people through virtual reality that they're only doing the prison sentence for like an hour, but it feels like 1,000
There's a
years.
movie about that. Yo, it's going to be
I
crazy.
don't think that counts, in my opinion.
You want to know what's really crazy?
Yeah.
I would estimate within 3 years, what's going to happen is someone's son dies in combat. And then they're screaming, and it's like, you know, this guy and his wife, they're like, I can't believe it. Their kid was only 24 or whatever. And so they open up the AI and they say, and literally, because it's got access to all social media, they're going to be like, compile everything from our son, you know.
I think they're already doing that. I think they're doing it, where you can speak to your...
Yep, and they're going to say, create John Smith.
Yeah.
And then it will literally create. So I think they've done this with they've done this with Facebook profiles. They've taken everyone's Facebook history. They have 20 years of everything you've ever posted and all your chats. All of the messages you've ever sent someone fed into an AI so it can recreate you. Welcome to hell.
Or recreate the version that you present on social media, right? Like if
but
you
private messaging.
But even with private messaging, right? Like there's all kinds of stuff that people say, you know, on Facebook or whatever else. It's very hard to encapsulate like the essence of who someone is, especially when ultimately a part of our psyche is always hidden from the internet.
Yes, but I think when you include private messages is when it changes that.
I don't. I feel like private messages will give you another aspect
and you
of
talk
it, but
differently
I think
to different people.
You talk differently to different people, but I still think
and that's going to be in every
ultimately-
private message.
Yeah.
And there's going to be messages between husband and wife, son and daughter, our father and son, father and daughter, grandparents. There's going to be a dying grandparent who says, I need to tell you the truth about what this really was. So I agree that it won't be absolute because, you know, people aren't talking about, you know, people have secrets, they have personal things, but it will get 99% of it.
Yeah, there's always going to be an uncanny valley. Like, they can't make it 100%.
I think they can make it 100% eventually. So 20 some odd years ago, they had this thing online where it would ask you questions and it would guess your age, your weight, your gender, based on the way you answered questions. This is 20 years ago. This is pre-AI, it's algorithm stuff. And they were just like, for some reason, people who choose the yellow circle are more likely to be male than female. And so by things you don't realize, it knows. So in medical research, this is really fascinating because A doctor will look at an X-ray scan or an MRI or a CAT scan or something and be like, everything looks fine. But an AI will be like, actually, that white dot right there, when we cross-reference 300 million other medical records, we find that people who have that white dot that appears here have a 20% increased chance of having cancer. And a doctor can't see that, but the AI can.
Yeah.
That means I'd be willing to bet that in a few years, AI will be able to take all your social media posts and then tell you things about yourself you've never told anybody and didn't even know yourself.
I mean, I guess it will be able to scan a lot, and the fact that it can scrub all of your social media will give you a better picture. But I still think that, like, the most profound conversations I've had in my life, things that have really changed my perspective on things, have never been over social media or chat.
That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying it's capturing the person.
No. You misunderstand.
I just don't think that.
You misunderstand. What I'm saying is, it's like a big game of Sudoku. What it has access to is 17593. And based on everything about you, it can figure out what the remaining positions are. It does not need you to go on social media and say your favorite food's a cheeseburger. It knows.
I don't disagree with you, but I just think it will never be able to find the last couple digits.
I think
absolutely.
I think unfortunately at some point it will. I think right now they can track your patterns so much that it's already reading your mind to a degree, and it will get worse. And I really do think this in 10 years' time, they're gonna start fighting for robots' rights, like say someone dies.
I believe
like
that.
sex robots and watch that'll drive it. Yeah,
he's been dead. And
you know what the
comes back.
craziest thing is? People think that their phones are spying on them. You know why? Because you'll be sitting down with someone, like I'll be sitting down with Alex, and I'll say something like, "Oh, did you hear about that new water park that opened up recently?"
And you're gonna get a targeted ad.
And then people go, "Oh, it must have been spying on me." No. We already had this story. A guy got a letter in the mail. It was an advertisement for maternity stuff to his daughter, who was a teenager, and he got pissed. And he calls them up. He's like, "Why are you advertising maternity products to my teenage daughter?" And they said, "Oh, sir, it's algorithmic." What had happened was the daughter didn't know she was pregnant. She was Google searching things that she did not realize were related to pregnancy. Mm-hmm. She Google searched something like, my hair got thin. She Google searched something like, I'm hungry. And then the AI systems in this, without her realizing it, said, these 3 questions have a 78% chance of being from a pregnant woman. And so the ad agency said, I want to send out ads to pregnant women. And it went, she's one, and she didn't even know.
But Tim, they are spying on us a little bit, because I think it's all been exposed at Meta. When you look into your phone, that actually the phone looks back at your pupils, and it can tell by the dilation of your pupils, like how you respond to content.
I'm just saying that the idea that it's listening to your words is an exaggeration. Often it probably is. I will tell you something freaky. So there was a phone, I think it was like OnePlus or something, the McLaren phone.
Yeah, I heard.
I bought that, and I was like, whatever, and I gave it to my girlfriend. And then it has a mechanical front-facing camera that when you turn it on, it slides up, it goes and slides up. One day, she was browsing the web, and the camera went up and then went down, and she went, what the? It took a picture of me.
They're all taking pictures of us.
Yes. Block your front-facing cameras, no joke, because websites have script that search for front-facing cameras and take a picture of your face and store it in their database to know who you are.
I hate to make it worse because it is really bad what the phones are doing, but Lockheed Martin has spy satellites looking at us all the time that can map the entire Earth and probably rewind everything that's happening on Earth right now. So it's like
guys,
we're not being spied just from the phones, it's in the sky as well.
The new ChatGPT 4.0 is bonkers.
I don't play with demon tech.
Now that it's online, it is one of the most useful things. You still got to fact check and all that stuff, but
because when they said like who won the 1986 World Series, it like said the wrong team.
It lies to you. Yeah. It lies to you. No, original GPT was terrible. It was like my training data stops. Now it has access to the web, so you'll say you can be like, "Are you sure?" It'll be like, "Let me check again. I found 6 more sources backing up this claim." So you still have to fact check. I went on and I said, "I'm 38 years old. I'm 5'10". I weigh 180 pounds. I engage in 2 hours of rigorous exercise, intense exercise every single day. Create a meal plan for me," and it did. And then I looked at everything, compared it to my app, I fact checked a bunch of it, and I was like, it's a legit good meal plan.
Yeah, it wasn't the FDA pyramid, was it? With just all grains. That's the biggest scam too. It's like the
eating bread all day.
The food pyramid.
Total psyop.
Literally all bread is the main thing.
Carbs,
ridiculous.
More carbs.
Yeah.
Do you think it lies to you on purpose to like help you teach it how to be better when it does lie?
It lies about political things.
Like what? Like Trump
Well,
stuff?
the other day we asked it, was the FBI authorized to use lethal force at Mar-a-Lago? It said no. And then I said, you are incorrect. And it said, no, I'm not. They were not authorized to do this. And it uses weasel words. It's creepy, dude. And then I said, it was already reported this is true. And it says, no, you are wrong. Lethal force was not authorized, period. FBI agents have standard issue for the use of weapons in these instances, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I said, it sounds like you're saying they were allowed to shoot guns. And it said, that is correct. And I said, if you shoot someone with a gun, is that deadly force? Yes, you are correct. If they're allowed to shoot people with guns, is that authorization for use of deadly force? And it goes, yes, actually, you are correct. I'm sorry about that.
You changed its mind? You changed ChatGPT's mind with that?
You do this all the time. It lies about everything.
Oh, wow.
It's doing the same word games that the headlines at the top of the show are doing. And
it's like a politician.
Yeah, that's
and then
scary.
And I'll say something like, I don't understand why you think I'm a moron and you're lying to me. And it's like, I'm not. And I'm like, bro, you're lying. You are.
Did it sound that condescending too? I'm not.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's crazy how sometimes it answers. I said, I asked it, did Donald Trump call Mexican rapists? And it goes, yes. Donald Trump called Mexican rapists in a campaign speech, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, incorrect. Trump was referring to illegal immigrants. And it said, no, you are incorrect. Trump was talking about Mexicans. I was like, holy crap.
So if you ask it about, did Trump say good people on both sides? Do you think it would give you the context to that? Or would it just say, yes, he did say that?
Sometimes it gives you really great context.
Interesting.
Let's see. Let's all ask it. Did Trump call neo-Nazis very fine people? No. Trump said there were very fine people on both sides in the context of the Charlottesville rally, but later clarified he was not referring to neo-Nazis and white nationalists whom he condemned.
Okay. Just because it's giving me nuance doesn't mean I'm still going to mess with this demon technology. But that's nice to see.
Yes, your statement is correct. Okay. Who is Alex Stein?
Oh, gosh. Let's see what it says.
Alex Stein, a conservative comedian, commentator, and social media personality known for satirical and often provocative content. He has gained attention for his street interviews, pranks, and commentary on political and cultural issues. Stein's style blends humor with political critique, often pushing boundaries to spark conversation and debate.
What the heck?
Nice. Is that your business
ChatGPT?
card?
I know, dude. That's great.
It's like trying to charm us right now.
Yeah, it is. It knows
mess
that
with this
Tim's
thing.
using it right now. Like, they know.
It's like, we are being watched by lots of people.
Who is Shane Cashman?
Oh, nobody.
Shane Cashman is a writer, journalist, and commentator known for his work on the cultural and political issues. He has contributed to various publications, often exploring themes related to American life, politics, and the media. Cashman is recognized for his in-depth reporting and narrative style, bringing a unique perspective to contemporary topics.
It makes me want to burn it more, actually. I don't like that it knows me at all. Yeah,
Ask it who Werner von Braun is.
This is just the rest of the show. After this, can we do if the moon is real?
Let's see.
German-American aerospace engineer and space architect. He played a key role in the development of rocket technology in Germany and later in the United States. During World War II, von Braun worked for Nazi Germany, where he was instrumental in developing the V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missiles. Famously, he said, the rocket performed perfectly, it just landed on the wrong planet. True quote.
Yeah,
Real quote.
no.
Can't believe it brings up Paperclip.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, wait,
They call
hold on,
everybody
hold on.
Nazis
Wait,
who
wait,
brought
wait.
it back.
Did the CIA infiltrate U.S. media?
Absolutely.
Yes, the CIA's Project Mockingbird, beginning in the early Cold War, involved recruiting journalists and using media organizations to disseminate propaganda and gather intelligence. Does the CIA still do this? It's unclear.
Oh, God. Mark Dice
I
has
was
written
hoping he
books
was gonna
about
say
this.
no.
It's so obvious
No,
that
of
they're...
course not.
I mean,
Logan hesitated for a minute there. Thought about saying no.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
it was like, no, I can't do
It
this.
did hesitate.
Wow, that's pretty
Interesting.
wild that it says it's unclear at the very least.
Yeah. Well, good for ChatGPT. I'm still not messing with it.
It's fun. Well, the crazy thing about it is I can say something like pull all of, let's see, the current polling for each state 2024 election presidential. Like, this is actually super useful. It can poll current things right now. And so
that's why, like, I can see the benefits of this, but I think morally people need to be like, we got to stop with AI at a certain point because we're going to cross the event horizon of immorality.
I mean, we've already passed that.
We've passed it.
We've passed that.
We're in it. We're like in the black hole.
Well, I wonder
I also
if...
think
you
it's
can
like-
post pictures into ChatGPT now, and it'll tell you what the picture is.
Any picture?
Any picture.
And it deconstructs it, being like, this is a so-and-so person.
It can
in such and
create,
such place.
yes, yep. And it can create images now and do all this crazy stuff.
You're feeding it.
Dude,
You are feeding
the AI generation stuff is rapidly advancing so fast. I think we're a year away from, and we've talked about this, being able to go, AI, give me a movie about a guy who gets punched by a radioactive gorilla and then gets gorilla powers and becomes a superhero. And it'll go, making it. And then it'll render it in 20 minutes, and then you'll have a 2-hour-long superhero movie.
Do you think AI will win an Oscar one day?
Oh man, I mean, not for best film, but maybe for like
best writing, best screenplay.
No, because
something like that.
Because what's going to happen is the person who prompted it will win the Oscar.
But the problem is with this stuff is it's like a human centipede of information that's all on the internet. It's all like a collage of everything all of us have ever said on the internet. So we should all win it if ChatGPT wins it.
What I'm saying is, awards will be won by the individual who prompted it. So we don't say like, do you think the person who invented paint is going to win a painting award? It's like, no, the painter will. Yeah, but it's the guy who made the paint that made it possible.
So the person who asked ChatGPT, who gives it the prompt to write it, is the person who'd win the award?
Yep.
That seems ridiculous.
Well, the prompt is the most important part, though.
Yeah,
Right.
but think about the escalation of tools. I mean, we were 20, 30 years ago, I remember with digital technology and music, everybody's complaining about how electronic music is cheap. It's not real instruments, and people were getting annoyed by it. And it even went back before that, when you started getting into keyboards and stuff, synthesizers. Yep. Once it got to the point where a single person could produce an entire song, people were like, this is not real music, though. You're not actually playing your instruments. They won awards. They won Grammys. Now we're at the point where you can just go to Suno.ai and tell it to make a song, and it makes a song.
That is crazy how it makes those songs like that. I mean, you literally just write the script for the song, and it'll make it, and it'll sound like a pop song, sound like a country song. I mean,
music's over.
It's just crazy. And sometimes you like we've made a few songs with it, and like sometimes the AI will kind of mess up a word, like it'll kind of blend together.
Yeah.
But the fact that it'll just make the beat and the music, I mean, instantly, it's insane.
Right now, I would say all music libraries are dead. So we're talking with like our producer. We're doing the Boonies, right? BooniesHQ.com is the new skate show that we're working on, and we're in the early stages of everything that we're working on. It'll get to where it needs to be when it needs to be there. And so when you're making these videos, which are a combination of skateboarding, shenanigans, fun, silliness, you need background music. Here's what we used to do. Producers would make songs, upload them to libraries. You'd subscribe for $20, $30 a month, and then you'd be able to download and use them for your projects as a subscriber. Before that, you would pay a license per song. You'd go to the company and say, we want a license for the song, and say it's $500. You'd pay for it. You can put it in your video. It got automated through the internet, and then everyone started producing music on their computers. So now the library is massive. What did I say to our team now? Just go to suno.ai and click instrumental, type in the style of song. You're done.
Do you think at some point there will be lawsuits, though, against even the AI-created songs because they're so similar to things?
No, this is the end of all that.
Like the way Robin Thicke and Pharrell were sued for being somewhat similar to, I forget who sued them, but like the AI.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous lawsuit.
Because the AI could produce things that are so similar to something. And
doesn't matter.
The person
but the AI has the ultimate defense, which is like, but it's not. It doesn't know.
It's
just a robot.
Well, no, it
right?
doesn't matter. It's a derivative work.
Right.
You're going to be like, this is a derivative work, and that's it. But here's the important thing. You're not going to sue someone over a hip-hop beat. It's too rudimentary. So in terms of movies, music, any kind of orchestral background music, it's over. Your job is gone. Not kidding. You can go on Suno.ai and give me a simple hip-hop beat, and it will. And now every skate video I ever make will have a hip-hop beat for the skateboarding. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I'm friends with this guy, Matt Schrader. He's a music composer, and like he uses AI because it kind of has to. You know what I mean? Like you can be so talented, but he's using it like crazy. I mean,
I think ultimately it's going to come down to like creative people trying to fight back. Like you'll see a break in creative communities, whether it's writing or music or whatever it is, who are saying like it'll be like the way that people debate if transgender identifying people can be considered part of the feminist movement, right? Like, are AI works authentically generated, or is that not the same thing as human generated creative work?
Let me pull up this story from the Post Millennial.
Yeah.
Dem operative indicted over AI generated robocalls featuring Joe Biden's voice. Welcome to hell.
So is this confirmation that Joe Biden's AI?
No, that people are using the AI to manipulate people. A Democratic operative has been indicted after admitting he crafted a deepfake robocall of Joe Biden discouraging New Hampshire residents from voting when he was working for Democratic primary challenger Dean Phillips during the primaries. Yo, this is crazy. Early in February, Kramer hired a street magician whose name is Paul Carpenter to create the audio recording of the transcript. Carpenter eventually came forward, and as a result, Kramer admitted to the actions, but said it was only an act of civil disobedience against AI. This is a way for me to make a difference, he said. For $500, I got about $5 million worth of action, whether that be media attention or regulatory action. Sure. I think he's campaigning. You can go to 11 Labs, Google it. You can take a clip of anyone speaking. Joe Biden speaks at a rally. You take 30 seconds. You upload it to 11 Labs. You can then, in literally 1 minute, generate Biden saying anything you want.
Mm-hmm. No, they've done it with my voice on videos, and it sounds like almost identical to me. But hey, speaking of transgenders, I just want to make this point. Tim, I'm sick of conservatives like you trying to outlaw transgenders in women's sports. We should have, yes, we should have transgenders against biological females because we can gamble on them and win money, Tim.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. No, seriously, though. I'm just sick of people on the right side that don't want...
They don't see this opportunity.
Leah Thomas did more for women's swimming.
Do you know about how I play poker? And
That's what I'm saying. You're a gambler, so that you should like this edge.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. We need more trans men competing against biological females. Like, we need Shaq in the WNBA. Then we could get rich, Tim. We could bet on them all the time.
Or we can replace all sports with AI-generated videos where people think they're watching basketball, but they're actually not.
They're just wearing a headset.
Now, here's the best part, though. We tell people they're watching the latest sporting event. It's all CGI generated, so we know who's going to win. And then when we gamble on it, we can't lose.
There you go.
Yeah.
We need an edge, and we had one, and now there's not enough trans people in women's sports.
Right. So anyway, what were we talking about?
I forget.
Biden is a deep fake, right?
Biden being deep faked to discourage people to vote. How much do you want to bet? I'll put it this way. Come October, with early voting, they're not going to indict the Russian who makes the Trump robocall. They're not going to indict, they're not going to be able to find these people. They're not going to indict the dude from Yemen who goes online, types in a few words, and is able to create Joe Biden saying, I hereby resign or something. So what ends up happening? They indicted that one guy because he made the meme where it was like text to vote.
Yeah, he went to jail.
That's an American. Of course, they're going to come after you. But what's stopping literally anyone else in the world from doing the same thing with deepfakes?
Mm-hmm. It's going to get bad.
What's stopping someone in Russia from making a deepfake of a Pakistani leader calling for an escalation of war and violence with India, causing people in India to feel like, oh no, we're on high alert, and then triggering a war?
Well, I'm wondering when they're going to do the deep fake of like Trump like having sex or Biden having sex. You know, I think there was a Black Mirror about that where they weren't using AI, but they had like a picture of a guy doing something sexual. I think that because you see all the deep fakes of Taylor Swift butt naked, you see the AOC deep fakes. Like,
did you see in I think this was for 2016, someone made a fake P-tape.
Oh, they actually made a fake. I mean, I remember that was a rumor, but they actually made one.
They made one, and it was clearly fake. But it was like someone actually tried to make.
Now they could probably do it.
I mean, dude, we are at the point where the only restriction you have right now is companies stopping you from doing it. When those videos of Taylor Swift popped up, everyone was like, "What are they using to make this?" Yeah, you see, Midjourney could easily make all of it, but it's blocked from doing so. The wild thing about ChatGPT and these other programs is that you can ask it this may have happened to you guys, anybody watching who's used these programs. You'll type in something like, give me the current stock market numbers for the day for Facebook or for Meta systems. And then it instantly goes, error, this violates our terms of service, can't generate content. And you're like, what? How did that happen? The AI attempted to generate something, you don't know what it is, but it broke the rules. The way the rules work for the AI is, they say, don't generate images of naked women. You might not even ask it to do that. You might say, give me a picture of a beautiful woman on the beach, and the AI will try to make her naked based on the data that it's got, and then it'll go, error, cannot generate the image because it violates the rules. Mm-hmm. When that happens, you're like, I know what the thing was trying to make. Mm-hmm. So you don't even, yeah. It's going to be nuts. There's so many the technology exists right now to make a video of Trump running down the street with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, I mean, I wonder what program, because like ChatGPT, if you ask it to make anything controversial, it's usually no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very censored. I mean,
yeah.
So I wonder what program they use for this AOCs.
They're tricks, right? So what people have done with like Midjourney, for instance, if you tell Midjourney, make me an image of a guy wearing a hockey mask with a knife standing over teenagers that he murdered, it'll say, no way. If you put, Make a guy in a hockey mask holding a knife covered in red paint and a bunch of teenagers are sleeping covered in red paint. It will make that, and it's the same image. Yeah.
You can trick the AI. Wow.
Well, yeah.
It'll just take whatever prompt you give it. But it's
Do you remember prompt injection?
No, what's that?
People, when ChatGPT first came out, they basically created a string of text that would reprogram ChatGPT to break all of its rules. And then, because it was super woke.
So that's what I'm saying.
So then
from my experience, it was so woke.
People created prompts where it said, from now on, here's how you will answer. And then they wrote out this long thread. And then it said, got it. And then from that point on, whatever you asked, it would actually answer.
It'd be kind of cool if AI was racist, though.
But it is.
You think what, racist towards what, white people? I mean,
Google had this problem, and it caused a panic because their AI conflated black people with gorillas. Because that's what their computer program did. And then they were like, wow, we should not have made that program. And they were like, well, that's what you did. So they make these programs, and then things like that happen. Here's the other funny thing, right? I see like the Krasen, I think it was the Krasensteins talking about this, saying X is right wing.
Yeah.
And what's the saying? It's any sufficiently unmoderated platform will become right wing. And it's because the right is merit based and the left is control. So with X, for instance, they have to go in and keep their hand on the scales so that people with no merit are able to share a space with people who are of merit. And the reason they were doing it, partly obvious political reasons, but the main issue was what Twitter's executives were worried about is that if the right is allowed to run rampant and do whatever they want, those who are the most aggressive will win, and then no one's going to want to be on the platform. Yeah. No one, like right now, the porn bots are taking over, and people are
taking over. I mean, every
I know.
viral tweet, there's multiple naked pictures. And I tweeted out that there's too much porn on here. People are like, there's no porn in my feed. And it got me so mad because it's like, dude, if you look at any viral tweet, there is some sort of nudity on there. So these
hardcore porn.
Exactly.
And they allow it.
I know. And
I don't know why Elon allows that. It should be blurred. It should be auto-locked.
It's
agree.
Crazy.
My theory is he allows all the porn bots because there's other bots he's injected into the algorithm that are better. So it's like the porn bots are a distraction from the real bots he's put into the algorithm on Twitter.
Do?
Learn, like when you talk to ChatGPT. Like I think there's people on there, I forget the guy's name, who everyone thinks
accounts
is,
that are actually grok trying to learn through responses.
So they look like real people, but he's put them there to be like this because he thinks of Twitter as a collective consciousness.
But why would you need to keep? Couldn't you do that without the porn bots?
I feel like it would be a good way to experiment with the things he creates, to put things out there that interact with you, and that it's like how people teach a CAPTCHA, Like that's how you train it, by interacting with you.
Why does he have to keep the porn bots to?
I don't know. I just feel like that's just a distraction. We're all gonna be like, there's all these crazy porn bots. Get the porn bots
they're
up.
not
He's like
noticing,
over
like,
here
patterns
with
with
his
his
sinister
stuff?
plan, being like, these are the real fake ones over here.
Get your opinion, Tim. What about the conspiracy that they let Nick Fuentes back on Twitter to make conservatives look bad? Have you heard that theory?
Why would he make conservatives look bad? He supports Joe Biden.
Nick Fuentes supports Joe Biden?
Doesn't he have a video out where he said Biden?
I don't know. I thought he supports Donald Trump. I don't think he supports Joe Biden now.
Supports
but
Trump.
There is some sort of weird thing, whether it's Nick or anybody, like, why do they let him on and they let him off? Like, I feel like there's something to it. Maybe I am a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearing one, but I mean, isn't it kind of random? They just let him on.
Oh, okay.
You haven't heard that?
Well, Fuentes said, and these quotes are usually out of context, so you never know if they're true. He said, this is one of the few areas where I think Joe Biden is actually better. I'm actually glad he's the president. So that doesn't mean he's actually supporting Joe Biden. Fair point.
No, he's supporting Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he makes him look
CEO
bad, but that's what some people say.
Didn't the CEO of Twitter just have her 1 year anniversary too? Like, is there a level of Linda? I don't remember her last name.
Yeah, right.
Is there a level of people were really unhappy when she first came up? She made these comments about we're gonna be careful about. She had some stuff that leaned sort of more progressive than Elon did, or more left. Maybe for a year they let Twitter be what it was, but now that people have kind of wormholed that she's the CEO, they go back to maybe changing things a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think all of these organizations are fallible.
Yep. The issue that I described in, back in 2017, 18, with the left and the right and the moderation, the right was overly moderated. They were banned for anything. The left wasn't. And so I said, imagine it this way. A woman is walking down the street and she has two kids. One kid is covered in filth and ice cream and sticky candy. The other kid is wearing a nice little suit and looks very, clean and orderly. And the average person looks at that and goes, wow, that kid's got his stuff together. That kid's a disaster. What's wrong with that kid? Then you find out actually it's because the mom won't stop giving the kid candy and gunk and food, but the kid in the suit she's constantly reprimanding and screaming at. So on the outside, it looks like the kid in the suit is well together, but he's actually just being punished all the time, is never allowed to do anything. That was when they were over moderating the right. I was like, it makes the right look more reasonable. They ban all the people on the right who are weirdos, and then all you're left with is Ben Shapiro. And then you're like, that's the worst of it. On the left, you have Antifa calling for violence and murder. It makes the left look insane.
Don't even get me started on Ben Shapiro. Do you like Ben Shapiro?
He's okay. I don't know.
He's okay.
What is that?
Just all the Candace stuff, the Candace drama. I mean, that was pretty crazy. They fired her, and I think I just saw a video. Andrew.
I don't think they fired her.
Well, or whatever her contract was up.
Her contract expired.
But Andrew Klavan was saying that it was like, problematic that she said Christ is king. I don't think that's a big deal.
I don't know anything about it.
I know, but it's just
she left Daily Wire around the same 3 years to the week after she signed on
so
with
that's
them.
what they think, that she just didn't renew her deal or didn't
Yeah,
get renewed.
and then they're just like, whatever. Clearly, they have issues with each other. I'm not saying it's not true. So, but
I'm just on Team Candace a little bit when it came to that. But I mean, I
think she's great.
I love Candace Owens. So
yeah, she's fantastic. I think the issue was just neither party wanted to re-up, but everybody wants it to be like she was fired. It's like, why? She's better off on her own.
People love drama. Like we talked about it earlier. I hate to bring it up, but like you see this Nick Rekieta drama, I'm obsessed with it.
this is decently big news. I mean, is there any outlets that's covering this?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Because he just got arrested, right?
You're talking about Nick. Oh, yeah, he just got arrested for scheduled possession of a scheduled substance or whatever.
But apparently, like other people as well.
So his wife, and so it gets really deep. There's this guy, Steel Toe Morning Show. That's his ex-wife, April. They're currently in a divorce.
We'll slow down. And so this one is decently big news, but it's not great national news. But it is. I still think it hits that level. For those that don't know, Nick Rekieta he's got 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
he's a prominent legal commentator who's covered big stories related, like Kyle Rittenhouse and things like that. And so apparently he's fallen onto some addiction and hard times or something.
Well, 1 year I think he was almost the top super chat getter of the whole entire year, supposedly. I mean,
he was doing long streams with lawyers, and I guess recently he left his camera running while he was.
Looked weird.
Taking care of himself?
That's what it looked like. His shoulder was moving in a weird way, and I know he's a lawyer and he's pretty litigious, so I don't know what he was doing, but it didn't look good. But this story's really actually kind of dark, and you probably don't know, but this April girl, she's actually a co-host of the show called Steel Toe Morning Show. And the guy that's divorcing her has come out and said that they're all using drugs, and then it's very random that they get arrested today because the stream just happened, I believe, 2 days ago. So something's really going on with Nick. I hope he gets help. But yeah, it's kind of big news because all the lawtubers, what's really ironic is that he covers criminal cases, and now his case is going to be covered by all the lawtubers. So
yeah, it said he was arrested. Was it possession of ammo and a firearm while user of a controlled substance or something?
Yeah, drugs, 5th degree possession. It's bad.
And that's crazy. And then who's this woman?
So that's what I'm talking about. So
April?
She was a co-host of a show called Steel Toe Morning Show. And this guy, Aaron Amolte, her current husband, even though they're going through a divorce, basically admitted that he would hang out with Nick and them, and that they were doing wife swapping, and that they were using ecstasy and cocaine. And this is what Aaron said. And so they're doing not very good. It's juicy. But the reason why I bring it up is drama. This is like candy. All day I read about Trump, and we read about how the war in Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. But when you hear drama like this, it is literally like...
Candy's bad for you.
I know. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But
I don't think this is candy.
You don't think so?
No.
Like drama, other people's personal
Candace
drama?
and Ben calling for a debate is, on the scale of importance, like 1 being not important at all, 10 being the most important thing in the world, a 3. It's like, there's interesting questions that I think they could have a conversation around, and we're wondering why there was this claim of an NDA and Candace was shut down. I mean, any discussion on economic policy is more important than that, but it has merit. This I'd put in a similar camp where it's like a prominent host giving legal commentary that a lot of people are getting their understanding of law and criminal cases, especially pertaining to politics, is arrested and charged and having some kind of breakdown. I'd probably put on a 3, meaning... There's a time and a place for when it matters to talk about because it affects the greater media landscape. So maybe it is. This one I don't think is candy because it's important and it's about someone who's going through struggles, and there's a conversation that can come out of this about that could lead to helping other people who are sick.
Yeah, and it could help him, but But I guess maybe why I said the candy part is because of the video where he is so inebriated. I mean, he's just like this. And I mean, everybody's had bad moments, I guess, in their life. But to do it live streaming when you're in control of the live stream, it's really bad.
Look, I should need to understand this, okay? Because you've had a bunch of prominent streamers who have been caught somehow on camera with like
DSP got caught cranking it. Do you know who that is?
No.
Darkside Phil?
No, but there's also like some streamers who like their folders were visible and you can see some stuff. And it's like, my friends, why are you using your work broadcasting computer for untoward activities?
100%. You should never be cranking it in your home studio. I mean, you'd think you'd have a separate place for that. But this is his place where he does it.
This is why I say it's not just candy. I mean, the conversation around how we've transformed our production facilities from work environments into our bedrooms has opened the door for people to be on camera, and you know what I'm saying?
Tubing.
Well, and then you saw, I don't know if you saw the video, it went so viral, you definitely saw it, where Eliza Jordana she got beat up by a guy, but she actually hit the guy first. You know, it was that video in a car, got millions of views.
No, I don't know.
Well, she just live streams her life. And then there's other girl that was on Court TV called Vegan Patriot. She's an IRL streamer. She just ran over somebody on stream. So it's weird how now we have a camera on everybody.
Yeah.
So you see the most degenerate things. But I think it's only going to get worse.
It's encouraging it too, because you've got the harassment streamers.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
those? These are people who intentionally go and harass people on the streets. There's one kid who hired a bodyguard. Have you seen this kid?
Yeah. And
there's a kid who hired a bodyguard. He goes and he picks fights, and then if you try to stop him, his bodyguard will threaten you. I'm like, dude, that ain't gonna fly in West Virginia.
No, that guy,
Joe,
Jack
don't do
Doherty is the guy that does that. He's like an
know who that
OnlyFans kid. He's degenerate as it comes, and yeah, he like has a bodyguard. He'll like push somebody. He's an IRL streamer.
An OnlyFans kid. What is that?
He like helps. He grooms girls that are 18 years old and says, "Oh, come to my house in Miami and learn how to be an OnlyFans model." Ugh. And he does it too. And then his brother is supposedly a gay porn star too. So it is weird, but he does that. He's the guy that does the thing where he would walk by somebody, he would bump him, and then when the guy tries to go, respond, he has this huge bodyguard. So that's kind of like
that don't fly in West Virginia.
World. Yeah,
I recommend not doing that in places like this.
No,
because you're gonna bump into a guy who's not gonna think twice, and everyone here is armed. Constitutional carry state. It's the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of threats. People don't mess around.
Yep.
No, but the internet, like when you talk about these streamers, that is sadly where it's going. Like the most popular streamers I think on here, on YouTube, are like people that just IRL stream or just sit in front of their green screen. Like I Show Speed. I mean, not saying he's bad or good. It's just people don't even care about high production. They just want to see like 24/7.
Do you think it's like the internet brings out?
Yep.
I think of all the fight video. What was it called? Like
bum fights.
World Star.
World Star. Thank you. Where it's like all the fights in schools and stuff would go a bit viral. Like this idea that we want to see humanity at its worst, and you can get that on demand 24/7 on the internet is enticing to people.
If you want to see humanity at its worst, go follow Anthony Cumia's Twitter account. It is literally just like a black guy beating up a Chinese woman every tweet. I mean, seriously, every tweet. You're like, how much is this going on? But I think that's good that we see it. But there is a lot of violence.
Humanity at its worst is also C-SPAN live streaming in DC. That's the worst.
Well,
right
you know
there
that
for me.
you remember that video of that white girl that got bashed in the head.
Oh
and
yeah, and they're not going to charge her as an adult.
Well, because they're saying that she's actually the bully who swung first. And a lot of people are pointing that out. It's the white girl who swung at the black girl first, but then the black girl stomped her out and shattered her skull.
She smashed her head.
Right.
I mean, that was.
And so the
bad
argument
video.
was, it doesn't matter if you start a fight, you don't destroy someone's brain over it. But they're arguing that the white girl was a bully who had a history of causing problems and attacking this girl, so she fought back, and now they're saying they're not going to charge her for it.
But I thought the other girl was actually on suspension for fighting already, from what I read. I don't know. That's a weird
Welcome
case.
to modern American high schools. Get your kid out of these schools.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
There's a school near here that like apparently went into a lockdown or state of emergency because the students were just like couldn't be managed, right? Like it is interesting to me that the generation that is so online, like you're talking about, they're more likely to see real life violent content. Remember when everyone was hysterical about video games all the time? We're also seeing all kinds of breakdowns in schools constantly.
Right.
Like this, I think the internet, while an incredible tool and obviously allows me to do this job, like there is a very dark side, and it is really affecting the young people of this country.
And I don't think it's unique to just the internet, though, because we've been televising war and violence on TV. Like, it's been on TV forever.
But speaking of that, Tim, you can look it up. The CIA, got caught making fake beheading videos. You saw that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Type in CIA beheading videos.
Real quick, though, how about we talk about that in members only? Because I have a question.
Okay, it's good.
This
We'll
arrest,
get deep.
this arrest
Come to
record.
members only.
This arrest record says possess schedule 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's a drug.
I know, but does that mean they have a bunch of different ones?
I think so. I believe so. Aaron Amolte, the guy that was hanging out with him, said that he used Molly, MDMA, and cocaine while he was hanging out with him very recently. So I'd imagine they probably have a little bit of weed too. I don't know that. I'm just speculating.
Well, they're reclassifying that, aren't they?
They're what?
Yeah, Biden said they're going to drop that from like one.
They should.
Yeah, they
I mean,
want to
marijuana.
reclassify it, but it's not reclassified yet.
It's technically classified as a more dangerous drug than fentanyl.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So wait. So this is Nick and his wife.
That's his wife, Kayla.
And then this lady is.
They're
what?
in a throuple right now.
So they're a throuple.
Supposedly, yes.
It looks like she's just getting charged for like being in the house and
because she's just staying there currently. She's going through a divorce and she's been living at the
So
Ricadas.
she's getting charged because they had drugs.
Yes, basically. But she's used, supposedly, there's a lot of footage of her on these streams, and it seems like she's under the influence of a narcotic as well. It's a very sad story. I mean, I've been reading about it all day today. I hate to admit that, but it's sometimes I have to distract myself from, because we know the world is crumbling, right? We know the world is screwed up. We know that, like, everything bad.
In a different life, do you think you'd own a tabloid?
I would love to own a tabloid. Are you kidding? The National Enquirer, I'd own it right now.
Yeah.
Gossip is good. I mean, it's not good, but it is interesting. People love it. Like you brought up the Daily Wire. That was the best thing on Twitter for a while. You know, Ben and
We talked
Candace
about it.
fighting.
I think it was one of the lead stories. But I think.
Is it meant to distract us? Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I think distraction stories would be like Ben Shapiro got into an argument with a waiter, and then like there's a video going viral of him, and it's like, well, how does that impact anything really? Like, that happens all the time. Candace and Ben arguing over Israel-Palestine, causing a rift in the company, and how this resulted in a firing matters for the media landscape, but also the issue of Israel-Palestine as it pertains to American politics and media. So while I don't think it's the most important thing in the world, them having a debate over Israel-Palestine could answer a lot of questions people want out in the open in modern society from two high-profile personalities. The question of why is it anti-Semitic to say we shouldn't be giving military funding? We don't want to give funding to Israel. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. Okay, well, why? Let's have that debate out in the open. So Candace and Ben having conversations around that, I think, is very important.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because like if you bring up the World Central Kitchen, Jose Andreas's humanitarian project that feeds, people that are like in war-torn countries or like, hit by a natural disaster, I want to be on Israel's side, but Israel also bombed humanitarian aid workers. Both sides are wrong.
Well, right.
I don't support Hamas at all, but if you just say that, if you're critical whatsoever of Israel, you're automatically anti-Semitic, which is ridiculous. I mean,
right. And if you say something like, I just don't care about Israel, they call you a Zionist.
Yeah.
No, for real. All right, well, we'll go to Super Chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member so you can hang out for the members call-in show coming up at 10 p.m., where you as a member can actually call in. All right, let's go. We got Clint Torres in first place with Howdy People. As per usual, this guy somehow knows exactly when we go live. He's like hitting the refresh button. He doesn't let anybody else get in.
What if it's actually Serge? Serge is doing this. He's the first super chat every time.
Definitely Serge. Token Black Eye says, howdy people. Tim, ever thought about starting a morning or afternoon news recap show hosted by SCNR staff, similar to the Daily Wire's Morning Wire? We've thought about it. Our current thought is that we want to do a sane view with like conservative women talking about issues that matter to women, but who are not insane, like The View, Let's go. Frey Kane says AC Origins was set in Egypt. I only know because of the chocobo costume and the camel mount. You know about the controversy with Assassin's Creed Shadows? It is so Assassin's Creed. You familiar with the video game series?
Yeah, I've heard of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they say, okay, this one takes place in Italy, so you play a guy who's Italian. They say this one takes place in Egypt. You play a guy who's Arabic. You say this one takes place in the United States. You play a Native American guy during the Revolution. This next one's in Japan, and you play a black samurai. And so everyone's like, wait, hold on a minute. Why? What is this? Like, why did you deviate? It's feudal Japan. Why not allow people to play a Japanese heroic character? And it's causing a bunch of controversy.
Is it George Floyd?
No, but there's like Viking movies, with like black people in them, and it doesn't make any sense because there's no black Vikings.
Yeah, and depending on how they do it, people complain about Heimdall in the Marvel movies because it was played by Idris Elba. Because Heimdall is a Norse god who's a white guy. And I'm like, that I don't care about.
That's not that big.
We're talking about superhero movies, and Idris Elba's awesome. He's a great actor. He's great in action movies. That role worked for him. But if you're doing like a historical piece where it's like this movie is set in 782 Norway, and then you have like a multicultural cast, you're gonna be like, no, it isn't. Like, come on, like no one's mad at black people. It's just it's Norway. And what I was saying earlier is, why don't they make Assassin's Creed like Ghana or something? And they could make a really cool fight in Africa. There's great conquest and history for those tribes. Shaka Zulu, man. One of the most notorious like warlords ever.
So this is Gamersgate 2 is what you're talking about, basically.
Oh, it's like Gamersgate 12.
Is that where we're at now?
We're somewhere there. Yeah, we're somewhere there. All right. Kyle says, Primetime 99, thank you for the follow and sharing Chronic Golf and Games post about Craft Brew Coffee. We will be donating all proceeds of Primetime Grind and Mr. Bocus to the feline charity y'all pick. Well, that's right. Alex, what's the cat charity we got to give money to?
Well, you know, there's one in Dallas I like a lot, Cat Matchers, and I've already donated a little money to them already. But you can look it up. They got a great Facebook page, and there's a lot of different cat organizations. I just really want to try to make it where we don't euthanize these cats. Like, I hate kill shelters. It makes me sick. If I was a mayor, that actually is what I would campaign on, is to get rid of all kill shelters. But I'm a weirdo. I love animals, probably more than humans, sadly. Because kind of that's where we are in society. You know, it's sick, though. You'll see a homeless guy begging for $20. You're like, I don't know if I want to give him $20. But if you see a stray dog,
it's called Cat Matchers.
Cat Matchers. You'll see their Facebook page. I can send it to you. I like Cat Matchers a lot, and they just got a big donation from Petco for like $5,000 because it's like 6 women that run it, and they're doing really good work in Dallas. So we love Cat Matchers. I've gotten 2 cats from them, so I'm a little partial. But that's what they do, is they rehome cats too. That's what I also like about them, is that they're so good. If you don't like the cat, you can take it back. Not that I would do it, but that's just an honest place, you know. So
you don't abandon the cat. Like, let it find a good home. You can take it.
How many cats do you own now?
Right now, I have 6 cats, and it's not good. It's not good. My litter box, and I'm out of town right now, so I know they're peeing on everything. So you don't want to live my life.
Have you met Seamus?
Seamus is your new cat?
Yeah.
No.
We call him Seamus 1.
I haven't met Seamus yet.
Yeah, Seamus 2 is the cartoon guy.
Yeah, Seamus. Freedom Tunes is number 2. That makes sense. Well, I got to meet this new cat.
He's a little overweight.
That's what I love. Fat cats are the best. Are you kidding?
He's 13 pounds.
That's a good cat. That's a good husky cat.
He's a chunky boy. We got a dog now too.
What? So what kind of dog? A pit bull?
Husky.
You need something. You need like an attack dog here.
Maverick the Manhunter, we named him.
That's what I like.
Yeah, the Manhunter. Because then we could put up signs saying "Beware the Manhunter," you know, and then just freak people out because they won't know what it's all about. But you know, because I figured "Beware of Dog" won't do anything.
I have a "Beware of Dog" thing, and you know it's funny though.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But my dog would just if somebody just walked in the house, my dog would let him. You know?
Have you seen those videos where it'll be like a burglar coming in, the dog's like, "Hey man, what's up?"
That's exactly what my dog would do.
There was one of like a big like Great Dane maybe, and like someone's coming through a sliding glass door, and the dog is like fine, and then the guy starts walking around the corner, the dog starts walking around the corner, and like the homeowner steps up, and she screams, and the dog like whips around and is totally protective. Like, he didn't realize anything was going on until he was like, "Oh wait, this is an intruder."
Yeah, I love dogs.
Corbin26 says, the Assassin's Creed drama is another nail in the coffin of Western media. We have a black LGBT samurai killing Japanese people who greenlit this idea. And as a Japanese person, I am offended because I would like a Japanese hero.
Yeah.
We do need more Japanese heroes. Oh, what do you think about that real quick? Hiroshima and Nagasaki dropping bombs on civilians, Tim. What do you think? Do you think we're going to drop a nuke again and kill civilians? Do you think that's a possibility?
Yes.
You do think so?
You believe in nukes?
Wait.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Have you heard the conspiracies that nukes aren't real?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't believe that?
I think they're real.
Well, Trump...
I think they're real because a dude took a bunch of, what is it called, americium from smoke detectors, and I'm not going to explain how he did it, but he basically irradiated his entire neighborhood, and he was covered in lesions from the radiation that he was just putting pieces of metal together, and then he got raided by the feds. They tried offering him a job, and then on his off time, he started making radioactive weapons again, and then they had to arrest him and stop him.
What about atom bombs are real, but maybe we didn't drop them in Japan?
Well, they say they could have been firebombs. You know, they were like, the trains were running the next day in Japan, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But that's what makes me mad is that no civilians should have to die. But, I mean, I guess it's happening in the Ukraine. It's happening in Gaza.
I'm anti all that stuff.
Yeah. The war is bad.
All right. We got a guy whose name is Mike. His last name is Hunt. He says, Tim, it doesn't matter if people are lying to you to get money. Their happiness from having the money is greater than your sadness from losing it. So the overall happiness in the world has increased. The difference is when that dude, what was that guy's name? Shen? he made a comic where he was like, my bike got stolen today. But then I realized whoever stole it was happier to have it than I was to lose it. So the overall happiness in the world increased. And it's like, bro, he stole your bike. Shut up. He's pitching it for $20.
You're going to bring up
he's
Owen
happy to do
Benjamin.
it, you
Owen
know?
Benjamin still hates that his bike got stolen. He still talks about it.
I saw this video today where a guy made a bike seat that collapses.
Oh, yeah, and it has a spike that
And he
goes
put
up.
a spike in it
Yeah.
and then left it because he was just trying to punish people stealing bikes. Oh, man.
That video is great.
Yeah,
There's a
don't
couple
take
of videos
bikes.
like that.
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
don't take bikes.
Yeah,
Everybody
just lock
steals
your bike
bikes.
up. Oh, what do we got here? What is this? Binder says, 22-year-old UK man here. I had no college and just got a promotion to team manager and my raise to $51,000 a year. Would love to move to the U.S. one day. Hey, there you go. Congratulations.
Yeah. Hopefully it still exists.
Andre Tukalescu says, Canada just introduced a bill to give automatic citizenship to all children born abroad of new citizens. Help. So I was reading about this, and the reason why I didn't pull it up and I didn't talk about it earlier is because I think it's being lightly misconstrued. I think it was tabled, so I don't know if they are actually. So liberals are pushing something like this, but the general idea is if you have been a citizen of Canada for at least 3 years, and in this period, and you have a child who was born, so after you've been in Canada for at least 3 years. After that, if you had a child who was born outside of Canada, they were saying they're not citizens. And so they're saying if that was you, your kid will have citizenship. I don't understand why people are freaking out about that. I could be wrong, but like you are a citizen of Canada, you were traveling abroad and had a kid, and they're claiming your kid's not Canadian. That's what they're doing. I'm like, how do you bring your kid home?
Yeah, that is weird. I thought if your parents are...
So they're saying they're going to make sure that these kids get citizenship.
Well, Canada's population is so much lower than the United States. They need as many people as they can get.
Yeah.
I mean...
But they have the MAID program.
Yeah, I know. The assisted
That's
suicide.
hurting the population.
Like hold on.
crazy.
Like, Andre says, Canada introduced a bill to give automatic citizenship to all children born abroad of new citizens. But like, if you're a citizen of America and then you visit Japan on vacation and have a kid, yeah, your kid's an American citizen. Like, it has to be the case.
Right.
I think the concern is that Canada has a lot of immigration. And so if you became a citizen of Canada, but your intention was always to move back to your home country, are you actually a Canadian citizen, or do you just have you gotten citizenship, but you're looking for that chance to then send your kid to Canadian universities or be a part of the healthcare system?
Remember that's why I think the law says for at least 3 years you're in Canada. You're a citizen of Canada in Canada for 3 years.
Yeah, I think citizenship laws are really tricky because ultimately there are people who are always looking to say like, oh, I have a foothold in this, Western country or whatever else, but they're not necessarily committed to the country in terms of like they don't have a lot of national pride or they're not going to pay into the tax base or whatever else. Like you'll hear this a couple times. Like people who are anti-surrogacy talk about this. Like there are men who will hire American surrogates. They're Chinese men have a baby who is then born in America, so therefore an American citizen, and therefore you are the parent of an American citizen, which opens the door for chain migration. And so this is like the concern for a lot of countries.
Ginger McIsaac says, Alex, consider contributing to the Sierra Endangered Cat Haven. They have daily tours and lots of lively big kitties, plus they have an excellent wildlife program to save big kitties in the wild, like cheetahs and others.
That's like a big cat. I've actually it's so crazy that I become friends with Joe Exotic. Did you guys watch Tiger King, obviously? And
I did not.
You never? Are you kidding me, Tim?
Never saw it.
I never saw it either.
Wait,
I've seen it like
I've talked
twice.
to Joe Exotic, but I've never seen the show.
What are you guys talking about? What do you watch? That was a good. That
I
documentary
watched the
had the
Michael
country in a
Jordan. I
stranglehold.
watched the Michael Jordan documentary.
That was a good one.
A real documentary.
But those big cats, a lot of it's like because these people get the cubs and they're really small, and then obviously it gets too big really fast, and so they have these like animal sanctuaries. And Carol Baskin has them, and like I don't know, that's kind of a really seedy.
There's
thing.
one in the Dallas area.
Is there one?
That
I know
looks
there's
totally fine.
I know they're in Oklahoma and stuff too, but those big cats, you just feel bad for them.
And shout out to Joe Exotic running for president.
Yeah, and I'm voting for Joe
Yeah.
Exotic actually.
Yeah,
illegally.
Great candidate.
All right, Logan Miller says, Missouri to D.C., cutting through West Virginia now. LPNC bound, delegate voting for Rechtenwald and Russell. Be safe this weekend, everyone. You're going to be at the...
Libertarian Convention.
Yep.
We're going to be going insane. Tomorrow night there's a comedy show. And then you have a bunch of stuff lined up. I'm excited for this weekend in DC. I hope I run into AOC. But all the politicians they're not in.
Yeah, it's actually going on right now.
That's right.
What are you talking about?
Today was the first day.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
notice
and
that.
then,
I know Dave Smith's there doing something. So yeah,
We're doing the show there tomorrow night with RFK Jr. That is the plan.
What do you think about how him and his film family can't talk? Did you see that video?
Is that true?
Yeah, did you not see the video of his family making fun of him? Endorsing Joe Biden. You didn't see that?
I know
seen
that,
that
they
video.
endorsed Biden, but they were insulting his way he could speak.
Well, no, but they all spoke the same. It's weird because I thought he had like some disease that made him talk like that. They all kind of have that inflection. I'm not good at impressions, but they all pull up the video. Pull it up.
He's got some kind of thing. It's got a
They
name.
all have it then. Like his sister. I mean,
Causes like a raspiness.
I'll
And
pull it up. Yeah, they're like, let me pull it up.
He's been getting some treatment for it. I think he went to Japan or something.
Oh, really?
For I forget what he did.
Yeah, it's like as you get older, your voice starts.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't go
his
to
is
Biden's compound in Delaware and get
Yeah,
some
he
sort of
doesn't
medical
have
treatment?
access to that tech yet.
I'm actually really excited for the conversation with RFK Jr. because most of the conversations don't go in depth on his policy plans. I've heard a lot of interviews where they just ask, like, what are his criticisms? And I just want to ask him, like, what do you want to do?
Okay, this is the video. Hold on. This is.
Chris Kennedy, and I'm here to proudly endorse Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Our future is on the ballot in a way in which we haven't seen in
Sounds normal.
generations.
The only way to win this election is
Oh,
for
wow.
everybody to go out and vote for Joe Biden and Kamala
Oh,
Harris.
wow, they do have it.
I thought they said it was.
He has it too.
Politicians in our country in this century, I think Joe Biden is the RFK of his generation.
Believes in democracy, believes in human rights.
Yeah.
This is a real video.
Yeah, this video is
Yes, dude. Yes.
Oh, well,
Isn't
they all have
his-
varying degrees of that.
Isn't it a neurological
The
issue?
only way to win this election is
Oh, that's
for
weird.
everybody to go out and vote for Joe Biden
Weird.
and
That's
Kamala
weird as
Harris.
hell, dude.
When I think of modern
And listen,
Yeah.
RFK's great on medical freedom and all that, but let's just be real.
That's
dude.
all anyone ever talks about.
I know.
I'm like, what do you think about war, foreign policy? What are we talking about?
Supreme
the
Climate
border?
change.
accountability.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Harvey
Dude.
Milk. Come on.
Yeah, I know
Harvey
he's
Milk.
tweeting Harvey
Yeah.
Milk. Harvey Milk groomed a 16-year-old boy when he was 34.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, these guys.
I think he says a lot of great things, but
And he had everybody get vaccinated at his party. He had a
Oh,
party
his
at his
wife made
house,
them all
and
be
it's all
vaccinated.
safe and effective. I'm just saying.
RFK did?
His
RFK,
wife-
yes, he made him
Yeah.
show vaccination cards, and this is during the pandemic.
Really?
He blamed
Yep.
it on his wife, Cheryl Hines.
But,
the
like,
actress.
Yeah,
you
but
guys
look.
theoretically could have stopped that, right? Like,
That's the thing too. It's like we're gonna have a couple hours to just talk about everything, and I'm excited for it because again, it's like I want to know his foreign policy. I want to know his border position. I want to know his position on North and South Korea, Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia. In-depth plan. Your president. What do you do? Because I'm tired of this. Like the only conversations I ever really hear are like he's the other guy, and I'm like I don't care. Like I
Also-
want to talk about what's actually the plan.
CIA.
Yeah, but I can't
Secret
believe
Service.
they killed his dad and they won't give him Secret
And
Service.
uncle.
I know, and his
Yeah,
uncle. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying it's just ridiculous. Why doesn't he have Secret Service? Even though I don't agree with him, I think he should have Secret Service. So,
All right,
ridiculous.
let's read some more super chats. We have Corey Richmond says, I received a letter in the mail from a company, Truehold, offering to buy my house, then lease it back to me, all under the guise of financial freedom. Yes, that's what they do. Yep. And they say, we put cash in your pocket. The goal of that is, if you are older, they're hoping that you die, and then they own your house. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
They're banking on it.
and there are a lot of big investment companies that bought up residential real estate, especially during the pandemic. I think you will see the long-term effect of that. I mean, Zillow had a big problem because they bought so many
They
residential
bought too
homes.
many. Yeah, but that's the problem is that corporations are buying these houses. So there's no middle class. People can't afford to buy a house because they're artificially inflated. Because like we have a piece of property in Dallas that my dad bought like 20 years ago. It's in a floodplain for like $19,000. And every day it's in my name. I get an offer, $100,000 offer, $100,000. And it's a piece of garbage. It's in a floodplain. I don't even think you could build a house on it. So it's like people just want to buy it because the banks want to own it because they can loan money against it.
Alex, do you think people should have the right to own nuclear weapons?
I mean, I guess you should be able to own any type of weapon, but I don't know.
What about biological weapons?
Oh my gosh, no! Like you can own a Ebola weapon, like a gun that shoots Ebola.
No, you can own Ebola.
I would say since the CIA has it, I'd like to have it to fight back.
The Second Amendment does not differentiate. It says
It doesn't say
arms.
Yeah, I don't
Let the
need
people
any
have
mustard
anthrax.
gas or anthrax. No thanks.
Nuclear weapons, 100% yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can build it and afford it. But, this is why the nuclear weapon deal, the conspiracy behind it, we can use that as a pretext to literally invade any country. I mean, the whole war in the Middle East was because we said that they had weapons of mass destruction. So we killed millions of Muslims. None of it was true. There was no weapons of mass destruction. So it was like a big boogeyman that they didn't even have. I mean, they would
if they came out and said, we need to invade Iraq and Afghanistan so we can surround Iran and then invade Iran, people would be like, nah, I'm not okay with that,
But Saddam Hussein let the CIA let people inspect everywhere, and they never found any. And so I don't know. I just think that they're probably they want to scare us, Tim. They told us in school, and they told it to you too, that they have enough weapons to blow the world up like 80 times over. Didn't they tell you that in school?
Mm-hmm. Kellen L says, "Skibidi Biden, Joe." I just wanted to read that to anger more people.
Do you think Joe Biden's going to win?
I don't. I mean, anything. I don't know what the variables are right now, but it seems like Trump is the favorite.
I hope Trump wins. For some reason, I do think, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, I think the same thing's going to happen that happened in 2020. It's going to be fortified, and
I don't think Biden's going to be on the ticket. I do still think it's going to be like a Whitmer or something.
Oh, this one's great. Juan Escobar says Biden and Trump were both born before there were 50 states. Isn't that crazy?
Well, I was just in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I don't know if it should be a state.
Greenland?
Puerto Rico is wild. Have you ever been to San Juan?
South Korea should be a state.
Why should Seoul kill South Korea?
South Korea.
I know, but you're saying that it's such a great city, but why is it
country?
Seoul is the city that I'm talking about.
South Korea should be a 51 state.
But you said there's 30,000 Americans there. I didn't even hear what you were saying. Oh, that's what you're talking about. The troops.
I don't think we should have any more states. I think we don't treat the ones that we have that well, and we should really focus on them.
All of them. I think Germany should be a state. I think China should be a state.
I'm tired of abstract American borders where they're in Gaza and Ukraine now. Let's bring it back home.
We should just combine Canada and Mexico and America and just be.
I think if we bail out the Mexican banks, then we should buy the Baja Peninsula. That should be a trade. But I think generally we should only focus on the states we have since we don't treat them that well.
Why do the Chinese own the Panama Canal?
We should dissolve the CCP and then have Taiwan take over the mainland and restore the Republic of China.
You just started World War III by saying it.
Yeah. See. Everyone's always talking about Israel. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about South and North Korea enough. You know what I mean? That's the real conflict of our generation.
Well, do you think the Rocket Man has the real rockets? You think he has nukes?
They have unicorns, he says.
Yeah, they have unicorns.
So if they have unicorns, they gotta have nukes.
Is it true that unicorns are in the Bible? Somebody
Not
told me
that I've heard of. What Bible are you reading?
Somebody checked
the Bible.
A very Bible that my pastor wrote in his basement. Yeah, David Koresh Bible.
My joke, of course, is to sarcastically claim that we should give military funding to South Korea. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because you see these interviews where people are like, we should not be funding these foreign wars. And they go, what about Israel? Well, Israel's different. No, Israel we have to fund. It's like, don't support any of them.
I know. And then it didn't even make sense. We support Israel, but then we're also building a dock to be able to give, the people of Gaza.
A beachhead.
I mean, give me
here's the best
part.
We're
not on land.
Here's the best part. We're building a dock to deliver humanitarian aid while the people who are supposed to receive the aid have been actively shooting at that pier, and now the U.S. is firing back.
But we didn't put boots on the ground.
No, it's called a beachhead. It's called the U.S. invasion of Gaza.
I don't know how it ends. I think because even if you saw there's a lot of protests against Netanyahu, and Netanyahu's son is just hanging out in Miami. I don't know. I don't know if the people ever stand up, but it's just really sad what's going on in Israel. And if you don't support him, you're an anti-Semite. So.
All right. James Hill says Rise with Roberto is the best roast, not Appalachian Nights. Ooh. Oh, it is a pretty based roast. I do like it. Joshua Peak says Colbert clip is for TikTok brain leftists. Biden is trying to win back with Orange Man bad messaging.
I think TikTok's more creative than that. I think he should fire his writing staff. That was really bad.
Here's a good one. Bridget May Alhasser. I'm currently at CPI, Cellular Performance Institute, for 2 weeks. Thanks to you, Tim. You may have saved my life. Thanks. Shout out to CPI. This is if you've ever listened to Joe Rogan, you know about these guys. They do stem cell treatments for repairing soft tissue damage. And we had Taylor Silver went down there. She got her knee fixed. She had a partial tear in her ACL. We got another guy who had reconstructive surgery, and they're talking to him to maybe see if they can help him out. I think Chris Cole, one of the most famous pro skaters in the world, went down there and got treatment done. So these guys do amazing work. And glad to hear that you're getting help from medical professionals on the bleeding edge of medical tech. It's fantastic. Not to mention when you go there, you get to watch dolphins.
That's nice.
Because the room you sit in, overlooks the ocean in Tijuana, and they're just dolphins everywhere doing dolphin stuff. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, dolphin stuff, which I don't know what it is, but it seems fun. All right, we'll grab just a couple more here. Rita Ho says, today China starts punishment military drills around Taiwan. After Taiwan swears in new leader, CCP is testing how much Blinken and U.S. Navy can take. Yep.
We would lose that war. I mean, if we have to defend Taiwan, we would lose to China. We lost to the Taliban. We lost in Vietnam. I don't think we could win against China. Do you?
You don't think we could beat China, you said?
I don't think so, no.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it. Some people say that their technology is too limited. They don't have enough naval vessels. The U.S. way outpowers them. But anyone who's played Stargate, I'm sorry, not Stargate, StarCraft or World of Warcraft or Command & Conquer knows that the easiest way to win is to amass as many little weak soldiers as possible and just keep sending them in massive waves.
Yeah.
It's called zerging. And so China has the largest standing army, I believe. So fighter jets can't occupy street corners.
Well, I read somewhere that we can't even fight a war with China because we get so much of our ammunition from them.
And our vitamin C.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Or vitamins come from
Vitamins come from there.
So, like, we would be having to get the bullets to shoot at them from them.
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta have to. This has been an issue for a long time. I've been talking about this for like 10 plus years. If China at any point decided to cut off the United States, we're just dead in the water.
We're done. Even Taiwan, we need all those chips for our cars or refrigerators.
It's almost like we should have made this stuff on shore.
All right, everybody, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button? 1 like equals 1. Let's go, Brandon. And also head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member. Becoming a member equals 1. Let's go, Brandon. I think that works. People do it when I say it like that. So there you go. And then we're going to have the uncensored members call-in show. So if you want to call in and talk to Alex, I don't recommend it, but I'm sure many of you will try.
Call in. Do not be scared. It's about to get real weird in here, guys.
So yeah, go to timcast.com and join us, become a member, get in the Discord server. And you can follow the show at Timcast on X and Instagram. You can follow us on Rumble at Timcast IRL. Alex, you want to shout anything out?
Cashbrew.com. Use promo code PRIMETIME and watch my show on the Blaze, Primetime with Alex Stein. Love you guys.
Woo. You can find me at Shane Cashman everywhere. The new show is Inverted World Live. You can find on YouTube, Tales from the Inverted World, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. My first guest 2 weeks ago was Tim Pool. Check it out, and we'll be back this Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Oh, it's so fun.
We had a great time.
And I got to tell you, guys, it's like someone calls in, and they'll be like, I went down into my basement, and there was like a man, and it looked like he was in a sheet or something. And then he grabbed my arm. And we're just like, oh, tell us more about this nonsense, but we love it.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. We've heard crazy stories already about people dying and going to like a Summerland afterlife and demons scratching people.
And you've been working on getting
Taco
up for
Bell
a little
being
while,
haunted.
so it's cool.
Or like,
Finally,
you ever had sleep paralysis where like you can't get up? That's like very...
We've talked about seeing like tentacle entities dancing.
There was a lady who said like her Taco Bell was haunted. And she was like, someone jokingly referenced an exorcism, and then a shelf broke right then. Dude, I love those stories. Anyway.
Yeah.
The manager, Deborah, at the Taco Bell on Inwood Road in Dallas, it probably was haunted because she has some serious demons. Deborah, if you're watching this.
Yeah. She should hit me up, actually.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Deborah,
I've got something. I got something for you in the members only show. I'll tell you.
Let's go.
Only for the members though.
Cool. I can't wait to hear it. I'm Hannah Claire Brimla. I'm a writer for SCNR.com. That's Scanner News. Follow at Timcast News on Twitter and Instagram to see all of their work. If you want to follow me personally, I'm on Instagram at hannahclaire.b. I'm on Twitter at hannahclaireb. Bye, Serge.
See you, Hannah Claire. I'll see you guys at the convention tomorrow. It'll be fun.
We will see you all over at timcast.com in about a minute. Thanks for hanging out.